I'm so nosy.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
Ha, that makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him.
It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
What he means by pessimism is resistance. And that's what COINTELPRO was all about, stopping the resistance.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change.
We hide it in plain sight. One of Plato's greatest works was the allegory of the cave. I feel in order to understand the political matrix, we need only to look into this allegory. We first have to open our minds to the possibility everything is not as it seems, that things we've always known to be truth may be lies. For if we can't perceive the lies we've ingested, we can't see the bars on our mental conditioning. For that is how you walk out of the cave and see the political matrix. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Matrix. I am your host, Marcus Young Morpheus Cage, here with my lovely colleague and co-host, the lovely Voodoo Teal.
Woo! Hey y'all. It's
Hello.
Saturday.
Yes, it is. It is a special Saturday. It's just coming off of Thanksgiving for those who celebrated, and for Black Friday, which I've heard has went crazy in a couple of different places.
Do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
Do I? I don't.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, I go. Not
Fellowshipping and
really.
shit.
Well, it's more or less so. But if I didn't celebrate anything, I wouldn't miss it, because I always think of what it really harkens from and the history of it. And for those who don't know, I mean, I guess we can break into a little bit of history lesson. I know you know, right?
Hell yeah, it's a massacre, y'all. Sound like
Mm-hmm.
St. Patrick's Day and all the other holidays and shit.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know exactly where it comes from, they the story which they spin for you is when the early colonists came into this country, they were having all these beefs with the natives, and eventually they decided, we're going to bury the hatchet, so we're going to have a Thanksgiving meal, and then that's where we could, bridge the cultural divide and give forgiveness and thanks for all the things that we're thankful for. Well, that's not exact. They had that one little dinner, but they were back to fighting instantly. And then years down the road, not very far down the road, but you had you had the wars and stuff reaching a feverish pitch, fighting all over the place in the colonial areas. And in particular, you had a war that was going on back and forth with the early colonists, that was with the Pequot tribe. The Pequot tribe, what they were going back and forth, and so the colonials decided that, hey, we want to end this once and for all. And so what they did is they set a trap, took out got some of the people away, got some of their major warriors away from the village, fighting them and getting them tied up in all kind of little ambushes. Then went back to the village where the family, where women and the children mostly were left. They barricaded the whole outside of it, and then they set it ablaze and waited on the outside for anybody who escaped, so that they could shoot them down and attack them, and massacre. So it was a horrendous day, and they would continuously celebrate, every time that they would take a native stronghold. And so as they took out the indigenous people, they would give thanks for that over and over and over. And it got to the point where they were doing it like these big celebrations, like once a week. Like they were doing it like on a regular. And then eventually down the road, one of the governors, he's like, we need to just kind of like, this is getting a little out of hand. How about we just make this a centralized day? And then it became, okay, we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving, particularly on this day. Eventually, you guys know it became a federal holiday, and therein is that. And so I have a hard time, really giving this all love and appreciation for this holiday, which genocided definitely some of my ancestors. Um, I get it now. Okay, that's not what people celebrate for it now. I get that. I get people say, we can take this thing that started off as a horrendous tradition and turn this into something good and positive. I get that. But, for me, you can't erase, you can't build off of this bad tree and just pretend it's all good. And that makes it all right. So for me, it's just another day. I get the day off of work. So I'm going to take it to spend some time with people I care about. And if I'm not able to be around, I'm not able to be around family, I'll spend it around some friends and people who I enjoy spending time with. And that's the extent of it for me. But in the back of my head, it never escapes what the hell it really is about. But sorry, going ahead too.
I'm the woke person in my family, so I make the jokes. Like, for instance, instead of me saying Merry Christmas, I say, hey, Happy White Devil Holiday. So of course, when it comes to Thanksgiving, I used to say, Happy Colonizer Day, you know, shit like that. But this year I changed it and I was like, Happy All This Shit Is Mine Day. Because that's pretty much
Says,
what they were doing. All this shit is mine. They went, knocked on your door, said, just want to let you know all this shit mine. Don't hold no resistance because all this shit is mine.
yeah, I mean, I don't think you can look at the history of this country and not see the whole bloody trail that it's had. Granted, you can look at, always there's always good that happens with amongst the bad, and there's always people who are fighting against this, and so history can be muddied, but a lot of times it's what the overarching result was. It's kind of like, if you had good, like if you were rushing across town to go and see a family member and go and give them all these gifts, your intentions were great. But in the meantime, you got into a car accident and you killed a family of three. What's the overall result? Sometimes consequences outweigh what your intent is. So I'll say
The
shout out
intent was to
to
give out blankets with syphilis. The intent
yeah,
was
I wasn't gonna
locking
go
one
there.
door and like what? There was
Yeah,
nasty intent in it. I ain't trying to hear that shit.
yeah. I wouldn't well that I'm just saying overall, because there are certain people in history who they weren't on that side of it, but the overarching people who had the power, they was on, something else. So you get what I'm saying. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna throw a shout out. I see Uncle Warren was in the building.
Hey
No,
y'all.
I don't need fries, man. Oh, hold on. Oh my gosh. Hold off. And then I see Tom is in the building. What's up?
Hey
See Jackie
Tom.
is here. Jim Anderson and Mr. Peanut Man. I'm not sure what Jim Anderson is saying lying revisionist is about, but I don't know. Um I don't know if he's saying that we're the lying revisionists or other people are lying revisionists. I mean, when these stories, this is the thing which has always been funny about me in this new make up your own, versions of history, that people forget that there are people's ancestors who have passed down these stories for generations. That, yeah, oh, just because it's new to you doesn't mean that it's new information. So it's always funny to me.
That ain't that but some white guilt. Shut up. Nobody cares. Next. That's like you just gotta be that one white person that goes, well, my family didn't have any slaves. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Says
So goofy ass the hell up.
not
Like,
sure how long let me just put that up bigger. I'm not reading that correctly. It says not sure how long people have been engaging in germ warfare, But weren't there incidents of people trying to spread bubonic plague? Oh yes, definitely. I mean, the whole germ warfare thing is not something that started with the Native Americans. That was going on definitely in Europe. That was something
Yeah,
that
these people were slinging poo at each other. Shut the hell! Come on now.
they would intentionally know that somebody was sick and
Sick.
send that person as a messenger.
Yeah, biological warfare. White people have been
That
doing
way
this
that
shit
they
all.
can send. Yeah, they were already using biological warfare in Europe for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that you can probably find counts of it in other civilizations, but
Bro, bump that
the
shit. Vikings would literally send flaming hot things of poo in their fucking catapults. What are you talking about?
yeah. But what I'm talking about outside of Europe. But but as far as it being documented in Europe, it's very, very highly
Like,
documented in Europe. Like they
especially
had no
rats and shit.
problem, sending over. Well, because that's where a lot of poisoning and stuff like that was going on. So that's just another version of poisoning people. And
And
so
that's their
there
jams
were,
too. They quick to send that
mhm.
stupid shit over here.
There are two
I love you.
civilizations which I've noticed that are very prominent on the poisoning
You can
thing.
have me someone talk to my name.
Europeans and in Asian cultures. There's a lot of poisoning that happened in those, especially for higher ups. So, sending a whole thing of like boar that was infested was definitely something happened. Plus, just in general, I guess maybe it was more of a thing because in Europe it was so unhygienic, to be polite.
The Moors had to teach y'all how to wash y'all ass, and that's ridiculous because your ass been on your body your whole life.
Like some of the stuff that I saw, like here's the crazy part that you wouldn't expect though. Do you know that the royal families, that the actual royals were the ones who had the worst hygiene?
Yeah,
Like the
because they would
average
just put makeup
peasants,
and perfume on. Yeah, they would just put makeup and perfume on once a year on their birthday. They only wash their ass on their birthday, nigga. You telling me I would only have had 35 baths in my entire life had I been a royal?
yeah, I found
Do
that
you know
like
how itchy your asshole gotta be? I'm sorry, it's
so
only 12 minutes in the show. But you know how itchy
no,
your ass, you ever not wiped your shit all the way and had to go somewhere and then get you later on in the day? Everybody had that issue. Think about that all year. What
oh,
if it was day
some of the
two?
stuff was like it was this video that's been kind of going around. It was talking about like literally naming some of the stuff that they would do. And it was like because it was considered royal that they would only use this one thing. So, not to be too gross, but when it was like a woman's time of the month, they would use like the same thing over and over and over and pass it down. And so you might have 100-year-old rag that the queen before you used.
Your grandmama passed down her tampon.
Yes,
There you
that's the
go.
kind of
I said,
that's yes. Thank you for saying it, but that's
no
the kind
problem.
of shit that the royals were doing, like European royals, like fucking
Do
just
you understand the whiter the
disgusting.
face, the cleaner you look, but the dirtier you were? Did
They
we
were
talk
talking
about that
about
part?
they were talking about how bad a lot of them had lice and stuff like that, and it was just the royals were just disgusting. Like
Just
they used to sleep with the hogs and stuff like that, and that makes sense why some of these different diseases were passing back and forth. It's weird to me. Like most other societies, if you go through like a lot of the African societies, you go through the Native Americans, the royals, the people who were considered the royals and the leaders were the ones who were the most clean. And of course, the people who are out there working were a little dirtier, but not in European royal society. The royals were literally the most disgusting people ever. Sorry, I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but it's just
white people being dirty. Speaking of dirty white people, can we talk about the Haitian Texan plot? We'll start there since we
whoa,
already
whoa, whoa,
ragging
whoa,
on
whoa,
white
whoa,
people.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Not
We're
yet.
not there yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Let the people start getting in the building first.
Oh, y'all ain't in here yet?
Not everybody's in here yet. And we're
Wow.
on the first
Yo
15
Nina's not
minutes.
here yet? I was about to say, Yo Nina's not here yet?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yonina just got here.
Oh, she just got here? Hey, yo.
Uh-huh. Wesley said they had a deep connection to nature.
Nah, I ain't trying to hear
Oh,
that. Even bears rub their back on a tree.
Tom said they still are, which I don't doubt that. I think I know that they've gotten better because societies as a whole, most of
Nah,
the
no,
way
it's
around the world have
2025 and
gotten
these
better.
motherfuckers. It's 2025, and these motherfuckers still arguing about using a washcloth.
Well,
Ain't trying to hear that.
I
Ain't trying to hear that. Why are you arguing with me about exfoliating your body?
yeah,
Y'all want to do any? Y'all will pay an Asian bitch to do it. Y'all pay an Asian bitch and some sugar. Who you think made sugar scrub? If that's the case, y'all use sugar scrub to exfoliate your skin, but you gonna argue with me about a rag? A rag. That's what you gonna argue with me about? A rag.
Well, that was the
Yep.
funny thing about it. It's not only a rag, because think about it, this is before they had all these different other body wash stuff that Bath and Body Works came out with. Like in a black home, you would have like a face towel, you had a little body towel, you had you had the wash off towel. Sometimes you even have another third towel. So some people be like, this towel is just for my feet. This is for the feet or armpits and stuff like that, and this other parts are just for the arms and legs and stuff. And then, like when I
They
was
don't
hearing
wash
people
their
talk about
legs though.
yeah, but you gotta wash your legs. I
But they
mean,
don't. They just let the soapy water just run down their body.
we won't broad brush and say all, but you know the people that we are talking about. Some of y'all got friends out there who just nasty like that. There you go, Tom. There you go. Tom said one rag for the ball sack. Exactly. You don't want to be rubbing ball juice on everything.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say ball juice this early in the show, but you get what I'm saying. You gotta clean it up, people. Why are there two separate chats? I don't think I like that. Oh, I think it's because now part of StreamYard there's an option. Like I have it streamed in two different ways. So you have the ability to check it through, I guess, mobile version and like I guess widescreen version. And so that's probably where the two different chats are coming in. Although it should be all on one. I don't know.
But it might be my Twitch too. I'm 3 minutes on my Twitch. Maybe.
Oh, that's cool too. Do you get ball juice? I'm afraid to ask. No, you gotta clean. You gotta clean the gunk. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure some of y'all get to sweating, and I know for like women how they have women typically have what the boob sweat thing going on.
Nah, our coochies be sweating too, and it be smelling like a Whopper sometimes.
I know. I know. At work now, the restroom that used to be just a men's is now, for both, for men and women, and I guess for everybody. And sometimes I walk in and I get some strong whiffs. I'm like, ooh, somebody need to clean something up. That's all I'll say. I'm not trying to be crude, but I'm just being honest. Sometimes you walk in and you get a whiff. And I know get up early to work, and I know some people just hey, I'll just leave it at that.
Nah,
yes.
girl coochies be smelling crazy sometimes.
Yes, how did we stay on this topic? I know, Wesley, I'm trying to get off this topic.
Sorry. Wesley, why we gotta get off the topic, Wesley? You should understand this concept.
He didn't probably ran across plenty in his day. It's like, come on, girl, take care of yourself better. I know sometimes it be the pH balances be off. I get that. But sometimes it be just like a man. Sometimes people just need to wash their ass. Just period. No, oh no. Well, I'm not talking about pooping at work. I'm talking about sometimes they go and pee and it's strong odors left behind. Just sometimes opening up, it's not always the cleanliest. All right, so let me get off this topic. Goodness gracious. So, what did I want to start with? Of course, we got the Haitian crazy ass plot. We will talk about that shortly. Yeah, China is out there building iRobot for real. I don't know if y'all have seen that or not, but we'll talk about that. You had a big fire that happened in Hong Kong. Kind of just wanted to show that a little bit, and then we'll get into wherever the show
Started
takes.
arresting people for it too.
Yeah, yeah, different foods that you eat can definitely affect your smells. That is a fact. Oh, I want to show this first. I don't know if y'all saw this clip or not, but I just want to show this for a reminder of these are the type of people who are running our government. Just a quick reminder. Just a quick reminder. These are the people who we have running our government.
When I say I want to bring it in, don't just got it. Just
At the end of the day. Bernstein joins us now from the White House. Thanks so much.
I'm mad at you come to do with all these other ones. I'm over here like that.
Because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Since they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be.
I had to stop that for y'all real quick. Notice this phrase he said in there, MMT. Just notice that phrase he put in there, MMT. And I'm going to talk about it on the other side of this.
Kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money, and then it uses that money to let's see, they print money and they use that money to they sell bonds, they borrow. I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money, does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
We were always asking ourselves the question, do conventional economists understand what we're speaking of, but yet not talking about it? Or is it that they actually don't understand?
An old friend who's been with me a long time, a brilliant thinker.
White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein joins.
So I just want to get this straight for you, because I think I might need to play it one more time. So make sure we get it all. This was Biden's White House economic advisor, Jared Bernstein, who clearly seems to not understand a big part of economics while he was the economic advisor. Now, I just want to go through this one more time so you can hear. This man was supposed to be at this time an economic advisor, and the man who's talking at the end is an economist, explaining, like, do these people really understand economics and the economy, and or don't they understand it and pretending to be, or what's going on here? And I would guarantee you that you probably could throw the last 4 or 5 economic advisors up and you would hear similar things. The same with Treasury secretaries. I guarantee you, many of them you will see very similar interviews like this, because I think for the most part, most of them do not understand economics and do not even, these are people who I believe personally that they skated through college, kept good enough grades. Parents were probably, legacy, and they automatically got to where they got to from networking and connections. And this is how these people got put into these places. And all they've done is fail up and never actually obtain the knowledge they need to for the positions which they've always held. So, it's kind of mind-boggling to me more than anything that I always thought like these people who were in these positions, especially as a kid, were highly intelligent, these smart, and just because they have these titles and degrees and stuff, it showed me that many of these people still don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know, anything you want to say before I start again, Till?
Okay, as a woman that always gets lied to by men, I love when a man look at you for an answer to validate they lie. Because the way that man looked at that interview and was like, yeah, because like we borrow money, right? And then we do it, we put it in bonds, right? When a man got to ask you confirmation to their own lie, you got them chopped up. And that's like my favorite part of the whole thing is when he starts asking and answering questions when he's getting asked a question. Any person that will ask you a question when you get asked a question, they finna lie.
Yeah.
And that man said, yeah, because we print the money, right? And then we so then we got it, okay? And so now we got the money that we printed, right? And then we make bonds, right? Like, why are you asking me, nigga? This your job.
Exactly. You had some confirmation. And the weird part about it is the feel of the interview, it almost feels like a got you question. Even though it's not. This dude was just asking a simple question and he completely fumbled on something that should have been like 101. It should have been easy for him to nail. But here, I wanted to play it one more time so we can just listen to this dude fumble through this shit again.
This is now from the White House.
Thanks so much. The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Since they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to let's see, they print money and they use that money to they sell bonds, they borrow. I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money, does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
We were always asking ourselves the question, do conventional economists understand what we're speaking of, but yet not talking about it? Or is it that they actually don't understand?
An old friend who's been.
Now, for those who seem to be just as confused as him. I can explain it very easily. Um, Say, do they print money now? Yes, they do print money now. The amount of money needed is way too much to print. They just type in numbers on a computer. That's a big part of it. Shout out to my friend Lucy, I see out there. Shout out Blue Moon Red Wine. But here's what happens. They don't have the money anymore. And so the money that's coming in is sent to pay portions of the debt and services that we have going on. So it's mostly playing into the debt, and then we're paying on the interest, not playing on the principal. So anybody who's had a credit card or had any kind of student loan debts, you know what happens when you're just paying on the interest and not the principal. What that means is your debt is still accruing. You're just paying enough to keep the bill collector off your back. So what we're actually doing is when they print this money, that is to keep actual physical currency in circulation for the average population. But here's the big bomb, which he dropped right there, which I don't know how many people caught on to it or not, is he basically acknowledged that America is using MMT. That basically we've been running on MMT. And if he's saying it like this, more than likely they've been secretly running on MMT a lot longer than people understand. Now, so do you know what MMT is? MMT is modern money theory. And how modern money theory works is you are able to use and spend as much money as you possibly want. Exactly, since the 1970s. You can use as much money as you want. And the reason why that works is because we have military power. Because of our military power, it gives a stranglehold on other markets that basically makes it where, okay, our economy stays the top economy in the world because of our military might and trade deals that we're able to foster. Therefore, all that money that's in circulation is only backed by our military might and the petrodollar. Once one of those two things is compromised, whether it is the petrodollar, where other people can use that petrodollar, once that money starts to go into their systems, it would drop the price of most of their goods, making the money in their pockets worth more money, i.e. the cost for, i.e. what happens for a lot of us. If we didn't have the petrodollar, and what I mean by petrodollar, it's not actual dollar bills. It's basically being able to get our oil at a cheaper price than other countries around the world, making our goods cost lower for our cost of living in particular. When it gets to other countries, since they don't have a lot of these deals, perfect example, when I lived in Italy, Italy didn't have like a great deal. They were getting their oil out of Libya at the time. And so it made their oil prices very, very high, meaning most adults, I'm talking about 30s, 40s, 50s, are still living with their parents. Or it's either you live with their parent and you have a car, or you don't have a car and maybe you can afford to have your own apartment or house. That's why you would see many people in some of these countries in Europe who don't have the greatest oil deals. They're either living with their family up until marriage or end up staying with their family even after marriage. And you have that in high cost of living parts of the country in the United States. Of course, you have that, i.e. where I'm at in California. But MMT lets you work outside of the normal rules of economics. You don't have to actually, add versus subtraction and division necessarily doesn't matter. It's might makes right. And so you're able to forcefully get these reserves in and tell people you need our American you need our customers in America. So therefore, if you don't want to deal with our customer, if you want to deal with our customers, you're going to ignore our debts or this and that. And so MMT allows you to operate outside of normal addition and subtraction because you're able to manipulate the markets through your control of certain goods and trades and with your military might. Sorry if that was a long-winded explanation. Hopefully that made sense. I don't know. Your thoughts, too. I don't know if you're there. Canada, man. Back to Africa. What does that mean? I don't know. Please specify.
Oh, we might have a troll in here from my Twitch. Who knows?
I don't know. I'm like, what does that mean? If you're trying to say insult, be clear with your full insult. Say, you two back to Africa. That make more sense than just back to Africa. I don't know what that means.
Hi, baby. But let's say heart.
Yes, I gotta help you troll me. Come on now.
I know, like, come on now. We gotta help you be a racist. Come on, you gotta do better than that. I mean, I can teach you. I'm really good at it, but come on now. You gotta do better than that.
But, you know, I guess that's what you have going on with that Haitian plot, stuff like that. Anyway, but that's kind of the little thing I wanted to explain about what was going on with Bernstein and many of them there. They understand addition and subtraction now. If we were still dealing with supply and demand and actually dealing with, you know, actual real fiscal matters, then they would probably be able to understand that. But MMT is not dealing with actual numbers. MMT is dealing with might versus right. We have the fucking biggest military. And so at any point in time, we can go in and extort other countries. We can use our CIA to go in and coup governments and then get better deals. So that's how MMT basically works. It works off of our military might. Because the moment that military might goes away, then it gets very dicey for America. Oh no, did you have anything to say, Till? Okay. Then I'll go on. Yeah. I'll go on to my, because I remember a couple of years back, people were talking about MMT, and they were pushing MMT. And it's like, in reality, we kind of already have MMT and we kind of always been on MMT. That's the reason why when I hear people talk about the deficit, and we need to cut this for the deficit, that's not what you're doing. You're not cutting anything for the deficit because you're not going to ever recoup that money. I mean, we're approaching 40 trillion in debt. And think about, who do you owe this money to? And because I think Till, you had sent me a video, and somebody was like, one of the guys in there asked, "Well, who do we owe this money to for the deficit?" Well,
yeah, and they got the all that shit. You know, the volume goes down.
Well, we owe Japan owns some of our debt. China owns a big portion of our debt. You have various other small countries who own a little bit here and there. Private equity owns some of our debt. And so
hold on, let my phone charge. I'm gonna call you back. That's not me, Marcus. Sorry, that's my
okay. Obviously. All right.
Oh, my bad. Right. But no, we Japan, we owe China, probably Korea in some aspects. India.
Yeah, correct. Wesley said this earlier too. Yeah, India definitely owns some of it. Modern money theory happened when they took us off the gold standard, exactly, and that was a way where they can start extorting the gold out of this country. Because I believe that the powers that be felt like this country was going to collapse probably sooner than now, and I think they've been preparing for that collapse. And so that's the reason why, if they can get as many things on digital format,
Well, speaking of the collapse, France is going through a big issue right now.
Mm-hmm.
Banks are bankrupting, you know what I'm saying? Restaurants are being burned to the ground, riots and protesters and stuff like that.
Well, Nina, you asked, who does the World Bank owe? The World Bank they don't owe anybody. They're not in debt.
Are they not in debt? They're not.
No, you got to find out who owns the World Bank. That's the better question. Because then you find out who most of these people actually owe. That's all I'll say there. Says, I think the UK owns some of your debt. Yes, they do own some. But it's not a huge amount compared to like in fact, I'll pull it up real quick. I want to say number 1 and number 2 are definitely like China, Japan. It's mostly Asian countries. Because let's see who owns. Let's see, America's. Yeah,
Is that gonna be it on it?
Yeah, a mix of domestic and foreign entities, with U.S. investors, government entities holding the largest shares, including Federal Reserve, Social Security, and other local states. Foreign ownership is significant with Japan, China, United Kingdom being the top foreign holders. So those would be the top 3 countries: United Kingdom, Japan, and China. But most of this is owned through private investors. That's where the whole bonds and stuff comes in.
Sorry, I'm almost I'm wrapping up. So we're doing last minute stuff on my nails, Marcus. I'm sorry.
Okay. So we got snow in Illinois. Yeah, I figure it's about that time. So let me go on to this next one that I wanted to share with you all. And this is the story of the National Guard soldiers who were attacked.
Afghan super agent.
Yeah, so far one of them has passed. You know, R.I.P. to her, and the young man, I think she was 20 years old, and the young man is still fighting for his life. But I want to show this one. This good video I saw from not invited guest, from Greg Stoker. Good, interesting breakdown, a little food for thought. So I wanted to share his comments.
Profile act of domestic political violence perfectly reinforces the agenda of the administration. And I don't want to be that guy, but this whole National Guard ambush right outside the White House thing yesterday would be a lot less sketchy if the shooter, an Afghan national, hadn't worked with Joint Special Operations Command and the CIA for 10 years. It would also be a whole lot less sketchy if Trump didn't say this 2 months ago.
We're going to keep Bagram, the big air base, that one of the biggest air bases in the world. Reasons we want the base is, as you know, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. So a lot of things are happening.
Also way less sketchy if Afghanistan didn't sit smack dab in the center of the Russia-China-Iranian energy axis. And again, it would seem totally less sketchy if all these high-profile acts of violence, from Trump's ear getting not shot, to Iranian operatives trying to shoot him again and not shooting him, to exploding Teslas outside of hotels, to finding a clip of engraved Antifa bullets in a parking lot, to Big Balls getting his ass beat by a bunch of teenagers in D.C., Charlie Kirk, to this ambush of National Guard soldiers. All these acts of violence seem perfectly crafted. Totally crazy if you're neurologically incapable of pattern recognition. Anyways, on this colonial genocidal holiday, you can show your conspiracy-addled uncle, try to get him to do mental gymnastics to blame it all on the Jews instead of like capitalist power politics. But yeah, see y'all tomorrow. So it's kind of crazy.
So, and that said, I won't say I 1000% agree with Greg there, but I do agree with him for the most part.
Why? I'm not putting a pumpkin. Excuse me, Marcus. All right, so the first point that I wanted to build out is the fact that like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, we found out that Trump was doing all these renovations in that fucking Idaho ass goddamn what's your face? The base in Idaho.
Oh, you're talking about with the
Afghani base in Idaho.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then this happened.
I also think, well, the first thing that he said after this is that he was going to freeze up what was it, immigration. And the next step after that is he's going to go back and review people who have recently migrated to this country from 19 different countries. And so I think Yeah, you know how I always say most of these things is not one thing, it's always multiple things, right? It's always multiple reasons why they do this, multifaceted. I think it helps with his people who are trying to limit immigration, trying to find more reasons to deport people. Another way that this helps is it gives everybody a, oh, we need to be scared, and you know this is a time where instead of being against each other, we all need to bond together as Americans and say, hey, we're all on the same team, especially while Trump's approval ratings are keep going lower and lower. It also helped for people who are MAGA, who are kind of like kind of feeling a little way towards Trump, to kind of maybe soften them up and get them back in the camp. But at the same time, just like Greg mentions is here, it Bagram Air Force Base, it allows them to be able to keep a watchful eye on things that are going on in the Asia theater, mainly China and their nuclear program, because they're sitting right there. On top of that, it also gives an eye onto the Taiwan situation and the semiconductors, and it's just multiple reasons why them sitting right in that area allows them to do multiple things. Not to mention, facilitate terrorist attacks and things that. Oh, I didn't mean that they facilitated terrorist attacks. I just means that if things were to happen with, groups who originate out of Afghanistan, Al Qaeda, what's the other one that I'm thinking of? ISIS, things like that. Who knows? Maybe it gives them a little bit more leadway and room to operate. Digging the artistic lens for two streams glitching. Okay. But yeah, it's just a lot that's going on with that. I personally agree that I think he was wrong on the last part. And you guys get which part I'm talking about. But I think he's right about the fact that this is definitely CIA motivated, and for some of the reasons why what's going on. Do I believe that like they were trying to take these young people out purposely? I can't say that for sure. I just know that sometimes they will, in my beliefs, collateral damage is okay when trying to go for a narrative. And so a narrative that all of a sudden we're unsafe from foreigners is a reason to kind of boost the whole Trump immigration or mass deportations, and worry about the immigrants, and boost xenophobia. That's where I think some of this stuff comes in. But there is always that small percent chance that, hey, this guy who was working with special operations in the CIA for more than 10 years, that he just snapped. I more than likely think that it's always more to it than that. But I don't know. I'll leave you guys in the chat to tell me what you think. Do you think that this is just this guy all of a sudden had grievances towards the United States and decided he was going to do this attack? Or do you guys feel there was a possibility it was a false flag? What do you think was going on? I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on that. But on that note, I will close that one out and move on to the next. Oh, no, hold on a second, sis. Let me read Lucy's comment here. I guess I missed it. It says, regardless, it does show that the government could forgive debt if they wanted to. They just don't because they want people to join. Oh, without doubt. Without doubt, by keeping people impoverished, that keeps people funneled into the war machine. So that's another reason why you don't improve the quality of life for most people, because funnels people into the military. I mean, I'm a perfect example of one of those people who was funneled into the military because of economic situations. Once I started having some of the injuries that I was having, I knew that I couldn't rely on my dream at the time of going to college on, on my athletics alone. And I knew I wasn't taking school serious enough to actually just go to college. And then once I got a little healthier, going ahead and try the sports thing again. And so I was like, well, shit. I put all my chips in on at least, playing college football, or at least one of the other sports pathways, whether that was track and field, something. I figured sports would be my ticket to get me to college. And then once I got to college, yeah, then I can focus on what I want to do with myself. Well, when injuries kind of take that option away from you, a lot of times, and you don't have any college money, it lends for many of us, especially in like lower income areas, to go to the military. They'll say, "Oh, we're gonna go and party. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna make good money. You'll get a trade. When you get out, you can make good money." And so it's very easy to use that as a narrative to get people in there. So let me close that one. See what what y'all are saying in the chat. Sabby Sabs did a special report on it. It shows the guy who did it was being searched on Google well before the incident, just like Charlie Kirk. Oh yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. Hold on a sec. Camera's a little crooked. Pulling. There we go. Says Blue Sky says they're flopping comically. Those James Lee Google searches result. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely were. I mean, I just think that at this point now, they've tried to get over on us so much that I just think people are just not buying it anymore. I think everybody, whether you are, coming from center right or more to the right or um, libertarian minded, who have always kind of been more in the conspiracy lane, to some of the leftist people who have kind of been in the conspiracy lane. I think it's starting to get to the point where you're having a lot of people who were just regular Republicans and regular Democrats who are like, we're not buying any of this crap. And I think because they've done so much, and I feel been so heavy handed with so many things, they're not doing themselves any favor. So let me see what you said about Sabi again. Sabi Sabs did a special report on it, and it shows the guy who did it was being searched on Google. Oh, that's right. I just read that. Just like the Charlie Kirk shooter. Oh, I don't know. I have to check that one. I haven't seen it. I've seen Sabi's been doing some interesting stuff lately, so I got to see. I got to see what that is. Plus, I don't know. These days, I've been paying more attention to other things, so I haven't been following as many other fellow content creators' work. So, but yeah, I've seen Sabi's been doing some interesting stuff lately. They know who and where they are. The lies aren't even inventive anymore because they know it's unbelievable from the start. Yeah, I told people. I think I said this on a Saturday Night Anarchy episode. I said they don't really have to lie to us, like, to try to trick us, because they can just. I mean, what can we do at this point? They have most people so much over a barrel through how expensive things are. You gotta feed your kids, you gotta feed your wife, you gotta keep a roof over your head. Where many people, the fight is like knocked out of them. And so there's so many people who are in survival mode. That idea of like they're gonna mount this revolution is I don't see it. Yeah, so says Marcus, people like me had been saying what the Campbell Soup CEO said for years, and that's what I meant to show. That I don't know if you guys saw that Campbell Soup. You guys saw that one, that Campbell Soup clip. Let's see if I can find it, man. I thought that I had sent this out to myself, but I guess I did not. So hold on a second. Let me see if I can find the Campbell soup clip, because I definitely wanted to talk about that. Hopefully, we get Teal back on in the meantime. Let's see, videos. Okay, so I'll save that there. And I guess Yonina, remind me when whenever Teal hops back in here, remind me to bring back up the Campbell soup one. Yeah, I'll get some interesting comments. Definitely agree. Definitely agree. Yeah, but I'm gonna star that comment that you say, Yonina, there. And I got the Campbell soup ready because, especially since Teal is Teal food is a big part of what she does, and being a chef and everything. I definitely want to wait until she's in here. Oh no, feel like my new shirt. I don't know. For my movie nerds out there, hopefully you guys love Rocky back in the day. Let's see. So I guess I'll talk about the fire in the meantime. It's pretty tragic. Man, I got 2 videos up for that. Yes, I do have that up twice. Let's see. Yeah, I saw this on Thanksgiving, and I was just no conspiracy theory about it. I just wanted to report on it and talk about it because it was so crazy what was going on. But here, let me share my screen for those who did not see it. It was just crazy. And I guess from listening to some of the people, like, these fires in Hong Kong happen often. I mean, I won't say often, but they do happen. It's not out of the ordinary. It's just, since none of these has actually went to the point of like people dying, they've never kind of made a big deal out of it. They've kind of just been like, oh yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But this one was really bad.
Now to that horrific fire in Hong Kong. A high-rise apartment complex was engulfed in flames. At least 44 people are confirmed dead. Hundreds more are missing. A number of people reportedly have been arrested. Holly Williams has the very latest.
The fire started this afternoon, jumping from one building to another, engulfing this high-rise complex, which was home to nearly 5,000. I watched it spread from block 6 to block 5, said this resident. It burned all the way without anyone hosing it down. This distraught man named Wong told reporters his wife was trapped inside. By the time night fell, it was an inferno, with more than 700 firefighters battling to control the flames, and one of them killed. The housing complex was under renovation, with parts of it covered in scaffolding made from bamboo, which appears to have helped the fire spread. In Shanghai in 2010, bamboo scaffolding also fueled this blaze, which killed more than 50 people. And here in the UK in 2017, flammable cladding acted like a wick, killing 72 in a government housing high-rise. That fire sparked a public outcry about safety standards. In Hong Kong, the fire department said some residents were unable to escape. They can't even begin to count all of the dead until they've extinguished the flames. Holly Williams, CBS News.
So that's the fire for those who did not catch it. From what I heard about this building, the way it was designed, and the bamboo scaffolding was like it's like a perfect storm of horrible things mixed together, because the bamboo, especially once it's been sitting there for a while and it gets older, bamboo is strong and it's very bendy and flexible. And I get why they use it. Also, it's big traditional thing which they've used in China for a very long time. But as these buildings have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, when they're using this, there's a lot of corners that start getting cut, and that's where they talk about people might be catching some charges behind this thing, because one of the one of the engineers that I was listening to, he said that it was possible that there's styrofoam and even being used in here. That's a no. You're definitely not supposed to use styrofoam. That's ridiculous, because how easily that stuff can just go up. But anyway, the way the bamboo was, once that bamboo gets dry, and because it's hollowed on the inside, it gets holes as it burns, little holes, it can ventilate that flame straight up and help increase. They also say that they had like little shafts that are within the building itself that allows for airflow to go through. And I don't know if you guys know how building a fire and stacking it for airflow, how that helps improve a fire. This thing was obviously like just the worst of two things coming together. Now, I don't know if like I said, I know everybody jumps to conspiracy theory on things. I don't know what the conspiracy theory would be on this. I just know that this is a perfect example of cutting corners and capitalism, how this has led to, at this point, I heard over 94 deaths. So hopefully they figure out, better ways to do this and stop using this. I know that there are a lot of people who are calling for, okay, now it's time to get rid of the bamboo. We need to stop using, just because it's a traditional thing of using bamboo, we need to stop using it. Then there's other people who are saying that no, criminal charges need to be filed, because not only was it the bamboo, it was the netting that they used, it was multiple things, and how they didn't have fire crews who were able to get to this in time. I mean, one of the guys was saying, one of the engineers I heard, he was saying that he said the reason why like there was problems even trying to put that out is because they're not able to get drones up that high, as far as he knows of. And I would imagine that probably the only thing you could do when you start getting to high rises that are that much ablaze is you almost got to get to the point of using the helicopters and the planes that dump water, because like the same ones that you use for wildfires. Because as that starts going up like that, I mean, there's no firefighter ladders that are high enough. I mean, you'd have to get, special equipment operators to try to get something in there to help with that situation. And I don't know what you do. Yeah, the building acts as a stove. I mean, it was just, I think, just a horrible accident. So my heart goes out to those people who lost loved ones behind something like that. And hopefully, like, situations like this can be learned from and rectified, that we won't, not we, because we don't do this in America, but that, people will start finding the safer way of doing things. I know that it gets easy to, do something, and if nothing ever happens, then, oh, it's no big deal. But yeah, I mean, it can be. Yeah, bamboo is incredibly flame retardant. They cook food in bamboo shoots. Yeah, but once bamboo dries, it stays flame retardant when it's not dried out. But the longer you're doing a big project like this and it gets dry, oh, it can burn just like anything else. Let's see, what was that? Fire sprinklers may have helped, but that's the thing. With Hong Kong, I don't know what their regulations are on fire extinguishers, and I mean sprinklers. What kind of sprinkler system they had? If that sprinkler system failed, Um, I don't know what kind of system that they have using for that. I know one of the most powerful ones that you can use, Halon or something like that, would be good. But the problem with Halon is it's actually toxic for people, so you couldn't use something like that. I just, and I'm really curious about this fire because they've only had a couple that have been, to this level. This is probably one of the worst ones that they've had in Hong Kong. Of course, the other one they had like 50 something people, but they say that these fires happen often. They're just able to get to them before they get out of hand. And I don't know, something needs to be dealt with. I mean, you already got enough problems with that many residents who are living in a building that can cause a fire because most common fires are started by somebody leaving a cigarette burning. Um, and so I know that there's so many different ways that a fire can get started in a building like that, but the last thing you need is additional fire hazards. Yeah, that building is still standing. Torched as it is, it's still standing. They don't have fire sprinklers in Beijing either. They have dummy fire hydrants in China? Really? Huh. That seems kind of wild to me, like that they wouldn't have it. I'm wondering. I'm wondering, curious now. That they have. Uh, in Hong Kong. Let's see. What does it say? Yes, Hong Kong has fire sprinklers, but whether a specific building has them depends on its age and type. Regulations requiring sprinkler systems were introduced gradually, with newer commercial buildings having stricter requirements, but many older residential buildings lack them, as recent events have highlighted. That could be part of the problem. It says regulations, Hong Kong's fire codes, which include requirements for sprinkler systems, are implemented over time. Commercial buildings taller than 30 meters or 10 stories were required to have sprinklers starting in 1970, with further requirements added in 1980, 1990. Residential buildings, many older residential buildings, especially those constructed before the codes were updated, may not have sprinkler systems in some cases. Fire alarm systems in those older buildings are also found to be malfunctioning or disabled. So I'm wondering if that is the situation with this fire. If these were outdated if these, well, they were doing renovations on these buildings, so I imagine that they probably were older. Um, let's see what else we can find out. Hong Kong. See, Hong Kong building, but yeah, Hong Kong fire, not images. I don't want death toll. I want. And I'm looking at the building. I'm imagining that these are older buildings. That's what I imagine. Could be wrong. I'm saying maybe at least even that these buildings might have went back to possibly the 80s. It could be older than that, but I'm just curious. Did that building have no? Ah, no. The recent Hong Kong high-rise fire spread rapidly and killed many people, but the buildings were not equipped with them. The buildings were constructed before new regulations required mandatory sprinkler systems, and it appears the fire began as difficult. Yeah. So that's why it got so bad so fast. They completely did not have a sprinkler system in there at all. Ooh. Well, that almost sounds like that's something that China needs to be doing ASAP, going through all these older buildings and equipping them, because this could be a horrific situation if things like this continue on. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah. So what was it? You say they won't. I mean, I can get that they probably won't. I mean, it's probably expensive to go through. Well, not probably expensive. I know for a fact that it's expensive. And it takes time for you to do a sprinkler system that connects all the way through the building. You, for one, are going to have to go through the whole entire building and put in that piping. And it's definitely going to be expensive to retrofit that into all those buildings. Just buying all the materials in general is already pricey enough. So, unfortunately, what this sounds like to me is they might have a situation where they might have more of these coming. Yeah, that does sound bad. It sounds like they're probably just not going to. I agree with you, Yonina. They might just won't because it'd be so pricey. It, yeah. In this day and age, it's almost, I see more of a chance that they'll just weigh out their chances and, I don't know, try to keep, I don't know, some kind of emergency firefighting helicopters or something. That makes the most sense to me. Marcus, thanks for you guys. Show much love and respect, and you're welcome to join us if you have time. Yeah, yeah. If I have the time, I definitely will hit you up. So yeah, I say just every week, just send me the link. You never know that I can get on or not, but I definitely always enjoy it when I am on. Um, Let's see. What did Max say here? It says, I've read the Chinese issued an inspection on all buildings nationwide for fire hazard. China is able to do unbelievable things these days. Um, I believe that they can do it. I just know that even doing a fire inspection is different than I'm trying to figure how do I say this right. A fire inspection is just going to go and they're going to look for things that could possibly cause fires. So they're going to make sure that you don't have certain doorways blocked. They're going to make sure that all of them are no longer using things like asbestos. They're going to make sure that where they can, they have flame retardant materials. But that's when they do an inspection, that's probably the most that they're going to do. Make sure that certain doors aren't blocked. Make sure there are fire extinguishers throughout the hallways and things like that. And that's probably the extent of what they're going to do as far as like inspection. I mean, inspection is very vague to how far they're going to go with that inspection. Because you can inspect a place, and if you have that bamboo scaffolding up, you can have a similar situation happen all over again, and the inspections absolutely meant anything. Um, you also have a situation where somebody, they're cooking with grease and the grease overspills, and now you have a grease fire in that kitchen. Somebody comes in with water trying to put out that grease fire. Next thing you know, that thing is spreading. And so there's situations like that where, I mean, the more people that you have in these buildings also, the more risk of somebody doing something or somebody just falling asleep with a cigarette in their hand. I mean, that's literally the number one cause of most fires. So you could still do all the checks you want to, but that doesn't guarantee that fixes the problem. So I don't suppose we want sprinkler systems that's so sensitive goes off every time you're cooking something. No, basically how sprinkler systems typically work is it has to, well, you have multiple different types. And so it has to have a certain amount of smoke that's going to typically send off the alarm. it's not going to send off the sprinkler unless like it's normally the sprinkler systems go off to a certain temperature. So I believe once it reaches over like 100 and I think it's like 180 Fahrenheit. I don't know, I get those mixed up when I'm dealing with Fahrenheit and Celsius. But basically it has to reach over like for most Americans, I guess what we use, I don't know, I think we use Celsius. I get them mixed up. So forgive me on this, but it has to reach over like 100. And then once it's reached over that, combined with smoke, that can trigger like this. It's like a little glass thing that's in there, and that thing will shatter. And once that shatters, that kicks on the springesium and things like that. That's a whole nother type of fire. Because you never know what people are doing in their apartments. Project and cause a fire through these different chemicals that they're using. Chemical fires, some of them cannot be put out through water either. So if you have some kind of good fire extinguisher, typically the chemicals in there will work with multiple types of fires. I don't know, but I think gotten that point across. I don't think you guys want to hear any more about fires. Oh, excuse me. So I guess I don't see Teal yet. I guess I'm gonna have to probably go on to this next story. Guess we'll have to continue on. So I'll go to the Campbell Soup one. Play this. Let me see if I can find this video to play. Hold on a second here. Really? They showed a Campbell Soup commercial before? Wow. That's wild. Hold on a second. I don't know how the hell Campbell Soup managed to get a commercial before an ad criticizing them. Somebody in PR department needs a raise because they're on their stuff. But here.
Campbell Soup is denying claims about its products, allegedly made by an executive in a recorded conversation. The person in the recording is also heard belittling Campbell's customers during an expletive-filled rant.
We have that's for poor people. Who buys our I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's unhealthy. Now that I know what in it, you can eat bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer.
The recording is allegedly from a conversation that's now part of a lawsuit filed by Robert Garza, a cybersecurity analyst for Campbell's, who claims he was fired after reporting the alleged remarks, which he says also included racist comments about company employees. Garza claims Campbell executive Martin Bally made those comments after the two met to discuss Garza's salary. In a statement, Garza's attorney saying, "This situation has been very hard on Robert. He thought Campbell's would be thankful that he reported Martin's behavior, but instead, he was abruptly fired." Campbell's responding, saying, "If the comments were in fact made, they are unacceptable. They do not reflect our values and the culture of our company." And going on to say, "The comments heard on the recording about our food are not only inaccurate, they are patently absurd."
Nothing melts away the cold like a delicious hot bowl of Campbell's soup.
Campbell saying, "The chicken meat used in our soups comes from long-trusted USDA-approved U.S. suppliers and meets our high-quality standards." And the company noting, Bally worked in IT and had nothing to do with food production. Bally is on leave, pending a company investigation. In the meantime, the Attorney General in Florida, a state that bans lab-grown meat, says his office is now investigating Campbell's products. We reached out to Martin Bally, but did not hear back. Campbell says it has not been able to verify the recording. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
So it makes me wonder, definitely makes me wonder, because this guy, he claims that, now granted, it could be some guy who's just talking out his ass, doesn't know anything about actual Campbell products, and that they're not actually lab grown or 3D printed, like he said. I'm also curious to hear, like, some of the expletives that he had to say. It's just weird to me that in a corporate setting, somebody would be talking with somebody that they're not super familiar with and be so forward to say some of the things that he's saying in there and be so disrespectful. Sorry, I'm gonna put a little sugar in my coffee. A little brown sugar. But I don't doubt that those comments were real. He's like, oh, we gotta investigate to see if the comments are real. It shows you obviously the culture in that company, that first response is to kind of circle the wagons and defend their guy instead of listening and hearing them out, and to kind of say, okay, we're going to be neutral on this. We'll sit back and we'll wait till we thank you for the information and we'll get back to you, instead to be antagonistic to this guy. Now, I don't know. We're hearing this third party from this lawsuit or whatever, from this story. We don't know for a fact what was the actual comments that he said. We don't know if he could be kind of, putting it on a little thick for his lawsuit, which I tend to normally believe the people who are on the other side of the corporation because of my biasness against corporations in general. But that said, guy could be laying it on a little thick. Oh, well, they were just so mean to me when I told them, and that could be true. I don't doubt it, but it could be a little BS. But what I will say is, I do think an investigation definitely needs to be looked into, and plus, we all need to be trying to avoid eating this kind of crap in the first place. Even if it isn't bioengineered, even if it isn't, CD printed, 3D printed meat, the fact that the way this stuff is made, just in general, assembly lines and all that, it doesn't do well for the average person who is trying to do business and make their own soup and stuff. We need to be going to more local people and going that route instead of just this processed canned crap, which has a ton of sodium in it that is not good for you. Back in the days, it used to be like, oh yeah, go ahead and I'm eating soups and salads and that's healthy. And it used to be, but a lot of this stuff is just crap. It's not good for you. It has probably tons of chemicals in it. In fact, that's homestyle. I'm gonna look up Campbell Soup's homestyle chicken noodle right now. Homestyle Campbell soup ingredients. So let's see what it says for its ingredients. Says AI says homestyle chicken noodle soup ingredients include chicken stock, chicken meat, enriched egg noodle, carrots, and celery, along with various seasonings and additives. That's where they get you the dangerous stuff, like salt, chicken fat, yeast extract, and natural flavorings. Let's see. Look, I'm gonna look at the extra ingredients. Other ingredients. This is because see here they trick you with the primaries. Oh, chicken stock, chicken meat raised without antibiotics. Yes, that's great for you. Enriched egg noodle contains contains wheat, eggs, egg whites, niacin, ferrous sulfate, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, and folic acid, which ew, all that doesn't sound that good. But when it gets down to the other ingredients, salt, chicken fat, water, monosodium glutamate, which is MSG, yeast extract, onion powder, dried onions, natural flavoring, dried parsley, beta carotene for color, soy protein isolate, sodium phosphate. It got a lot of preservatives and crap in here that I just don't think is health for you in general. So try to stay away from that crap. The Can I Have a Campbell is In which I noticed something in just this one that I pulled up now. I didn't know which story I was pulling up on this, but you notice just how CBS, they made it so like favoring, even though it's being critical of CBS, how they managed to, they show the commercials and the propaganda, and they really frame this from a narrative that Campbell Soup, we can trust good old Campbell Soup, that, well, this is almost like nothing to worry about. Whereas, no, you shouldn't frame this in this nice, friendly way. They made it almost seem like, well, we don't know. I mean, this is one bad apple who doesn't even work in this, who doesn't even work in that field to know what the hell they're talking about. Then they use the blanket excuse. It's approved by the USDA. Okay, do we trust the USDA? I mean, really, since we know that for a fact, many of the people who come from pharmaceutical companies and who come from many of these giant corporations go back and forth and are recycled from USDA to Campbell Soup to 1 minute you're at Pfizer to now you're back with the USDA, and on and on and on, where it's this corporate merry-go-round. How can we know for a fact? I mean, knowing that the USDA, a big chunk of their budget is funded by private corporations, many of them in the food and drug drug kind of circles, whether that's Johnson and Johnson, Procter Gamble, whoever. So I say don't trust any of this crap in general. Try your best to stay away from these canned goods, and outside of saving it for emergency situations, if you can't like can your own soups and have a deep freezer, like I don't have that. There's no way that I can store up my own homemade soups forever. Or at least for, a giant storage for when the crazy stuff starts to hit the fan. I mean, in that case, yeah, buy it and keep it for that, but do not get in the habit of eating that crap on a regular basis. Jackie says, not sure if it still applies now to pregnant women, but things constantly change. But when I was expecting my youngest almost 30 years ago, the doctor advised me that I needed folic acid. I think folic acid is good for your hair, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what and let's see. Let me look that up. What is folic acid good for women? Offers numerous benefits, especially preventing neural tube defect in pregnancy by supporting a baby's brain and spine development. So folic acid, I guess, can be good for you, especially pregnant women. Hamza says, what did I miss so far? You've missed about an hour and 30 minutes worth of show. I don't know how to sum that up exactly, but you missed a couple of things. But hey, it's here on the internet. It's not going anywhere, so you can always catch it later. Political measures. Did you know that the FDA approved clone meat for sale back in 2008? Yes, I do remember reading a story about that. I think there was even stories where a congressman was trying to get it where it's legal to be able to sell clone meat without telling people. So that's the reason why I'm like, yeah, don't trust any of these corporations. Look this stuff up. Thomas says, damn, I often take Campbell's soup in the field for lunch. Well, back to hunting and making jerky. Yeah, I would say, honestly, if you know how to make chicken stock, I would say make some chicken stock of your own. Going ahead and probably just like freeze that chicken stock. And then every now and then, you just grab you some, you just get you some carrots, some celery, dice you some onions, throw that in there, boil you some chicken, and toss that in there. Have your own chicken noodle soup. That would be far better and far healthier. A little onion powder in there, a little bit of garlic, and you're good to go. Um, yeah, it's not that hard, Thomas. It really isn't. I definitely think it's a much better way to go. Um, a lot of this stuff, like I've learned how to make some of these things from actually reading the ingredients on some of them and just separating out all of the crazy chemicals that you normally hear in there, because all these chemicals typically, for the most part, are just additives. And that's how they're able to make this soup and it sit on the shelf for so long. But if you're making it for use and you're going to have it within a couple of days, a week max, you don't need these additives. And then also, the downside of these additives, yes, it's good if you want to be able to keep it for a longer shelf life, and if you want to keep, these canned goods to store for later on. Say there's a situation where the stores are out of everything and you're struggling, and whatever the situation is, I'll let you guys fathom your own situations. But in that situation, then okay, go to the canned goods after you don't have anything else. But those additives that are in there, those additives sit in our systems. Eventually, as you start getting over, 30, for those who aren't over 30 in the chat, or get over 40, get over 50, get over 60, that stuff sits in your gut. It makes sure it bogs down your digestive tract. It leads to higher cortisol levels. It leads to higher blood pressure, irregular heart rates. And so all of this is crap that sits in your body. It doesn't necessarily hit you right away. You can go ahead and have a couple of cans of Campbell soup and then not touch anything for a while, but it's the repetitive use over years is typically what accumulates and gets you. That's the reason why, in my own mind, I believe there's a certain kind of symmetry that you have with the Food and Drug Administration, whether that be, Food and Drug Administration, and they're dealing with, big pharma, because they know for a fact how these things are going to affect you down the road. They have doctors and stuff on their staff. They test this stuff out. They do research studies and all that. All of these major food companies. And so they know, okay, people who consistently eat my product tend to gain this much weight, have blood pressure, are pre-diabetic. They know all of these types of things like that. And they share that information with your Blue Cross Blue Shields, your Kaisers, your United Healthcare, United, yeah, whatever it's called. I'm blanking on it. But they know all this. And so they know that, okay, you just had your last checkup. You just hit 50 years old. We know more than likely if you've had a diet that's consisted of this and this and this, and we have your medical records all these years, we noticed that at this certain time, you've gained this amount of weight. That means you're going to fall into a pre-diabetic stance. Your blood work is showing this and this and that. And granted, they might not be able to get your stuff from your medical records, but when you're researching stuff online, they know that you've been researching all this stuff that are, let's say, vitamins or whatever. It might be just over the counter stuff. It might be vitamins. It might be different fruits. They know, all of these things they keep researching have to do with blood pressure. Is it possible this person is worried about their blood pressure? Well, they're worried about their blood pressure, then maybe we could advise Lipitor to them, because they how these what are they called? When they ask for you, if you want to share, have your information tracked or shared or whatever, and we're doing it for just to try to research and kind of keep track of information so we can better help you. They're doing that so they can figure out how to sell to you. And so that through line between what you eat and then what you're being prescribed is a whole lot thinner, because I guarantee you these corporations are all searching your data. So let's see what y'all saying in the chat. That makes sense. MSG enthusiasm restaurants we saw food show a couple years ago concerning, yeah, I mean, MSGs are not good for you. Now, I know that in the society that we're living in, it's hard to escape any of this crap. Um, all of us are eating a certain amount of this poison regardless. But if you can limit a little bit here, limit a little there, it can make the big difference on your life and on your family's life and your, all your loved ones. So just things to put out there. Let's see, Nina, what did you have to say here? Says while the brain uses glutamate as a natural neurotransmitter, excessive glutamate can lead to um, extrotoxicity, a process where nerve cells are overstimulated and may die. That also leads to loss of gray matter and dementia and Alzheimer's and other neurological brain issues as you get older. And so when people will say, oh, well, my father or my grandfather is now 70 something, 80, of course, it's just because he's old. Not necessarily. It could be because of this crap that we're putting into our body that slowly starts to affect us. Nina says, I'm most concerned about our water. I get that. I don't know what we can do as far as fixing that, because I remember even Tilla asked me a question. Let me see if I can find it. She texted me earlier in the week. And Till asked, she said, where is it at? Fact, I can share it with you all. Let me put my phone on speaker and I'll share the question that she asked while we were having a conversation between us.
So I have a conspiracy theory question. Quick question. So, if every thing of water currently has forever chemicals or forever plastic in it, right? Does that mean that distilled water can no longer be distilled water, even if you do it yourself? Like, even if you put the filtered water in a container, boil it, what I'm saying, have a bowl on top with ice, you feel me? And then, like, all of the ice drips off the bowl into the clean bowl, unless you have distilled water. If the motherfucking, if even the filtered water still has, like, forever plastics in it, then what the fuck happens then?
So that was a question like Tilla asked me earlier in the week, and I had to think about it. And I responded, that's a great question. I would have to say, once you boil it, it should be distilled. But with all the heavy metals in the air, it is really hard to say. It's really hard to say. I don't know. I really don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's so much crap out there that it's hard to know. I kind of wanted to hold on Teal for this, but I don't see Teal. So I guess if she wants to comment on these things, then we will have to get her when she comes back. I know that she was just finishing her nail appointment, so she's probably trying to get home. Let's see. Game.film says I have a Brita filter, but I know it's not good enough. Yeah. And also, how often are you changing the filter? That makes a difference too, because the longer you have the filter without changing it, the less it's picking up and more stuff starts to get through. Jackie says, I'm concerned about how much water that these data centers and Bitcoin mines use up. That's a good question also. I honestly think that, like, especially that we have in some of these ones that they've just recently built, how much some of this computing power is taking up. In fact, that's what I will go to. Let me show that video. maybe 3 months. Yeah, if I was you, I would change it probably. I know it'll probably say on most of those filters change every probably 6 months. I would change every 3 months, just in general. I don't trust these filters. I think a lot of this stuff, since they build it with planned obsolescence, they might tell you 6 months, 9 months, a year. I think it's breaking down. Just like while I'm at it, I'm probably going to make sure I change my shower filter tonight because I think I've had it a couple of months. I already feel the water getting a little weaker, and I'm like, yep, that's when it's time to change it. Before, when I first got this new shower head, it's almost like you have to stand away from it because it's like it's trying to, rip the skin off your back. I think he's in Texas. Texas, that's another reason why you should change it probably every 3 months, because Texas is really bad with their water. Let me close that one off. I wanted to save this one for Teal, but I don't know when she's going to hop back on. So I'm going to go on ahead and show this one now. What's going on in China? Story back over to Asia for a minute. And show you this, because this kind of blew my mind a little. And I automatically thought it was fake also. And the reason why I say also, because there was a couple of American CEOs that when they saw this story, they instantly thought it was fake. So I'm going to get that story up about let's see. Let me get the story up on my phone and then show you guys this clip that let's see, news. Okay, yeah, that's the story I wanted. So I'm going to show you this clip. I mean, in this day and age, I kind of wonder how real some of this stuff is. So it's a little weird. It says I have blue reverses osmosis system. People on the filter company use their own water filters. That's a good sign. It's a good sign when they use their own water filters, but we never know how ignorant some of the people are to their, and I'm not saying ignorant in a derogatory and negative way. I mean, they could truthfully trust their product and not know how many additional harms are out there. So, so I'm just saying that I don't think you can ever get in trouble by being more careful. So let's share this video. And like some of the stuff that I've seen out of Japan also, Japan and China technologically are so much ahead of us and technology wise. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't. In some ways, especially like as a kid, I always wanted to grow up in that whole Jetsons reality and all that. And the closer we get to it, the more nervous and scared I get about that reality. So let me share this all with you.
And somehow, nobody is. They've officially deployed an army of humanoid robots into their car factories. Not robot arms, not automation, actual humanoid workers, hundreds of them, standing in perfect rows, swapping their own batteries, working 24/7, never stopping. It looks like iRobot. It looks like an actual movie, but it's real, and it's already happening. These robots are replacing human workers at the biggest manufacturers in China. They don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't strike, they don't need breaks, and they can learn new tasks just by being taught, the same way you train a person. China already produces more industrial robots than the rest of the world combined, and now they're moving to phase 2, replace the workforce at scale. Why does this matter? Because this isn't automation. This is Beijing trying to corner the entire global supply chain with a workforce that never gets tired, never gets paid, never stops. And they want breakthrough development across all major industries by 2027. If this works, China's manufacturing advantage doesn't just double, it becomes untouchable. This isn't just innovation. This is a what the fuck moment for the future of work, the economy, and global power. Robots replacing humans isn't just hypothetical anymore. It's happening right now, and it's happening in China first. China just crossed a line.
So that's that one. And so I want to actually find, well, let's see, let me take that down off the screen. I want to actually find the video so you can see the video that triggered me going down this rabbit hole of researching this. And I was like, okay, that makes me a little nervous. So let me find, okay, I'll show you this quick one first. And back. Where's there it is. So let me mute this. So this one reminded me directly of iRobot. Now, how I've always kind of seen the whole it's funny, says, is that the video of those Chinese robots or a clip from one of the Terminator films? Either way, pretty scary. It's funny you mentioned it that way because I always looked at it in the whole timeline of things. Like as far as movies that have kind of related with this, I felt that you have almost like the first Terminator movie, the second Terminator movie, and then somewhere along that line within the Terminator movies, you have that iRobot phase where they start to get the robots all over the place. I would say probably iRobot. Well, I can't count the Terminator movies because they start going all over the place and it starts doing a whole lot with the time travel stuff. But and then some of them are kind of not. It's almost like they're, I don't know. It's what's that phrase called? Red something. Where you almost like make a movie and it erases like the last movie. Redconning. It's almost like they retconned some of the stuff. So I imagine because then you have like the factory, and I think the last Terminator they made, I think it was Dark Fate. And I think that you did have like almost to a point where they were starting to have some robots in a lab. And I'm not talking about the Terminators, of course. The Terminators are a whole different story. But I'm talking about the actual, like, you did see like that plant I think they had in Mexico where you did have, okay, you're starting to see robot automation. And then I would say iRobot is like that next in between before it gets to the future of the Terminators where there's the whole war with humans. And then eventually from that, then you get to the phase of like the Matrix where they're in control, just in the movie timeline. Well, if that's the case, I wonder if in real life we're at the timeline of roughly where iRobot was at. So let me show you this video, and then I'll read this article afterwards. No, I'll try to see if I can find another video afterwards, but this first one kind of like was enough for me. That I was like, okay, let's just confirm that this is not a fake video. But yeah, it kind of creeped me out a little bit. Oh, shoot. There's Teal. I mean, we'll bring Teal back to the stage. So, Teal, did you want to weigh in?
Sorry, y'all. Yeah,
it's all right. Did you want to weigh in a little on that Kimball robots?
On the what? Can you say it again?
Did you want to weigh in at all on the Campbell Soup one, or did you want to?
Fuck yeah, I did. Fuck yeah, I did.
Put a pin in that. All right, go ahead.
So, first off, Y'all late as fuck to the party if y'all didn't think that we was eating people. First off. Second of all, I think we're eating people. That's my second thing. Third of all, bioengineered meat. Like, niggas, y'all been eating bioengineered meat for the longest. I.e., why I kept saying, why the homeless people ain't catching COVID? Why the crackheads ain't catching COVID? Because they eating Campbell's soup. Duh. Bush's beans, Campbell's soup, all that shit's made by the same thing. And not to mention, it has so many preservatives and so much shit. Like, it literally is falsifying you from the inside out. No wonder. And not to mention, nobody ever really eats the food that they create as far as manufacturers are concerned, because they know what shit they're doing to cut out having to pay so much to make this shit good. Like, this shit is not, that shit is not nuts to me. I was like, oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, that motherfucker was on the air saying, yeah, that shit's terrible. It's for poor people. Obviously, homeless people eat Campbell's soup all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, it's for poor people. Yeah, it's bioengineered food. Yeah, somebody's uncle, granddaddy ankles is in it. Like, I don't care what nobody say. I think it's humans eating humans. We all a part of the cannibals now because we all ate the chicken noodle soup with the stars in it.
Yeah, I mean, what I was saying is, as he was saying, if it was bioengineered or 3D printed, and I'm like, ooh, either way. I mean, or it could be that damn clone meat that they've been talking about.
Well, clone meat probably because you need stem cells and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. So they're growing it in a lab and feeding it to us.
Yeah, and y'all don't know what bioengineer really means to these niggas.
Yeah, you really don't. You really
don't know what
don't.
that means. Motherfuckers could be cloning humans just to kill them, just like they clone chickens just to kill them.
Let me give a shout out to Jackie. She said, "Thanks, Marcus and Voodoo. We're going to call it a night. Take care, everyone, and hope you all have enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Jackie.
We appreciate you also. Thank you, and you have a great and wonderful night."
All the way from the UK.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was like, I was saying, even if, let's say, for instance, even if it wasn't all that stuff in there, still all the additives and preservatives that they've been putting in that crap for the longest is just terrible for your insides.
Yes. That's why the crackheads and the meth addicts and the homeless people didn't catch COVID.
That's what they were trying to say, that the guy was the guy that was making the comments. He doesn't work in that he doesn't work with that type of that part of the company, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. And
yeah, whatever.
I was like, okay, sure. So he haven't been around long enough to talk to somebody else who knows.
No, he just hasn't been around long enough to be able to talk that shit. Now he got to get fired and shut the fuck up.
I imagine what they're going to do is they're going to keep him on investigation suspension for a while, and just say, keep your mouth shut, dude. They're going to wait till all this blows over, and then everything will be fine. They'll settle old boy out of court. They'll settle old boy out of court. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, because of the reason why I say that is because of how forcefully that they defended, how much they defended him.
He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. That man was talking that's some heavy facts right there. I believe everything about it.
I believe everything that he said. I mean, I believe I want to hear the rest of what he was saying, because they only share that one clip over and over when oh boy said that there was more. And so hopefully when his case comes up and it goes to discovery, maybe the rest of that can get released. But more than likely they'll get that whole case sealed up and we won't hear nothing else about it
ever again.
Especially since USDA wasn't brought up and involved into it.
Because they're supposed to be the ones that check meat. That's all the USDA does, is check meat. They grade meat. They check the integrity of meat, proteins and shit like that. And if you're not doing it, then what the fuck are y'all doing? Why are y'all here? No point in having USDA if they're not going to do their job.
Oh, yeah. And look at what Wesley had to say. He said that guy was some cybersecurity vice president. He ain't got a clue one about what's in Campbell's soup. In which I agree to some degree, but he's talked to people. He knows because obviously he's joking around with other executives.
Yeah, not to mention, and you're saying he's cybersecurity. You think he hasn't infiltrated, seen, or cut the communication between two different entities or two different parties?
I just look at there's no way that he doesn't know at that level what's really going on. He wouldn't be just saying that. He wouldn't be saying that shit out of nowhere. That's what I'm saying.
That's for damn sure too. Definitely agree with you on that.
You don't make comments like that. Now
And
you
don't know
could
shit.
shit on that. You could shit on that. Oh, it's poor people food and all that. But when you start talking about 3D printed and okay, well, this is a cyber security guy. He might know a little bit of something about 3D printed meat. And so he's probably walked past something and they're like, I know what the fuck that is. That prints meat. I mean, so also
Or I don't
cybersecurity.
know. Hey y'all, let me walk you around the lab. That's the 3D print machine that prints out the chicken for the chicken and stars we feed the kids.
I mean, think about it. If he's cybersecurity, I'm pretty sure he has access to walk all over the whole entire building.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is done with computers. So
and everything has a camera in it.
So he got exactly. So he got to go everywhere. He got access to everything. So I would think when he's saying that this is bioengineered meat and that it's 3D printed, I think he probably know what he's talking about. But
I just love how everybody just stops at the 3D printed part.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, "Oh, it's 3D printed." Everybody probably thinks it's like fake and plastic.
Well, no, he said bioengineered too.
I know, but like,
what does bioengineered
people wouldn't
mean
think
exactly?
cannibalism off, but people wouldn't think cannibalism off the top of the dome. I think cannibalism.
I don't rule it out. I mean, I don't rule anything out with these corporations. I really don't.
Oh no. Hell no. This shit's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like, Yonina says here. He says, what part of technology? Because bioengineering is biological technology. They think we're stupid. No, and I'm saying, perfect example. In my job, or whatever, our IT, they can have the means to look into everybody's things and everything that everybody's working on. Because if we have a problem with our computers, they're the person we call. That our corporate, literally from Hayward, they literally remote go into our computers when we're having problems. And so I don't know what that. I don't know computers as well as they do. So how do I know what they see, what they don't know? So I know for a fact if I'm working on this order or that order, they can literally clearly see who I'm sending emails to, who I'm not, and what. And so it's the same thing.
They can see when you open up your laptop for the day.
Exactly. So when these people are using, let's say, if it is a 3D print machine, I guarantee you cybersecurity, it knows that because it has to have some kind of an internet connection when they're using it.
To some server.
They're going to know that. Even the same thing with bioengineering, they're putting all that information into the computer and documenting it. None of these corporations are doing anything without documenting it. And so all this stuff is sitting on a server somewhere. And what the vice president of cybersecurity would be one of the people who would have access to that info. That's all I'm saying. He would have access to it to be able to read it. So I imagine he's read it at some point. That's why he made that comment. Also, not to mention he's probably physically walked around the lab and seen the machines.
Facts on that one.
I mean, I know for a fact when what is it when you walk into like a like say Budweiser, because I've done like a Budweiser tour. When you go there, security has access to walk around the whole entire building. So cybersecurity, you would be blown away how much of that stuff is operated through computers, regulating temperatures and this and that. That okay, your cyber security needs to work on that, because nowadays when you get in the workforce, so many more things go through your IT department than used to. I mean, now everything goes through IT, right? Right, too.
Hell yeah, everything go through fucking IT.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do shit at nowhere without going through your time card is IT.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, even if you clock in via your phone, which they did not have applications, you clock in from your phone, you got a geolocation. You think
Yeah, yeah.
IT can't see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine is on an app. It's on an app, so they know exactly when you log in, they know where from, all that.
IT know your shit before HR know your shit these days.
Well, hell, they're how HR find out most of the time.
Thank you. You feel me? They snitch to
They're the one sending
HR.
the alert. Yeah, they're the one sending the alert. Boom!
Hey,
Right here, Marcus went to lunch 1 minute over his 5 hour, lunch requirement. Because I don't know if y'all have that out there, but out here, if you do not go to lunch before the 5th hour, that is your company can get in trouble. And so that can get you written out. That honestly can lead you getting fired. That you don't take lunch before the 5th hour a certain amount of times. Because out here where California is sue happy,
Fireable offenses.
somebody is sued over that shit before. And so you get a certain amount of them, now your company is paying a fine from denying you from going to lunch.
Insane.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, when I worked in Florida, man, that was something that I would have never expected. That there's plenty of times where I've literally worked the whole shift and been like, yo, I'm just gonna leave an hour early. They're like, all right, cool. But yeah, let's go on ahead on to this next one. Let's show y'all this real quick. So here we go. So that's just one of the videos about that. Let me back it up so we keep the robots on the screen. Oh, what's a better shot? Like this one. So let's see. Wesley said, it looks like some trailer footage from Portal 3D video game. I wouldn't worry about these. Well, this is a story because when the American company says it It is fake. Why U.S. industrial leader refused to believe China's robot march video. Let's see. On November 14th, Chinese robotics firm UB Tech released footage showing hundreds of Walker S2 humanoid robots standing in precise formation inside a warehouse. The machines turned their heads in unison, waved their arms, and marched into shipping containers. A scene so visually arresting it evokes sci-fi blockbusters like iRobot. Brett Adcock, founder and CEO of leading U.S. robotics company Figure, responded with disbelief. He immediately took to social media to suggest that the footage was computer generated. Look at the reflection on this bot, then compare the ones to the one behind. The bot in the front is real. Everything behind it is fake, Adcock wrote. Later adding, if you see a head unit reflecting a bunch of ceiling lights, that's a giveaway. It's CGI. Which, let's see what it says. In response to Adcock's post, Shenzhen-based UB Tech swiftly released video shot with FPV or first-person view drone, complete with raw audio, inviting skeptics to witness the robot's feats firsthand. Yet Adcock remained unconvinced, and he is not alone. Let's see. While China's Fujian aircraft carrier debuted its electromagnetic catapult system, U.S. military experts similarly questioned its capability. In such cases, assumptions rooted in past experience appear to cloud perceptions of China's present-day industrial reality. So let's look it over. I'll look it over again and see. Do you think it's fake, too?
Well, my thing is, I think what I do think is, why would China like show us their goods? You know, that's just where I'm at. I'm not gonna show you the best of the best that I got. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also not in the business of bluffing either. Not in the day and age of AI. So I mean, I kind of believe that it could be real.
Yeah, they say, like, if you look here, they say it like, oh, because of this is shiny and you see lights and you don't see lights here, that's a sign that it's fake. Let me back it up. Let's see.
I mean, okay.
Let's see. I'll mute it real quick and let's take a peek at it one more time. So I mean, it is weird how that one does not have, it doesn't look shiny on its head, but those other ones all do. I don't know, unless that's a different faceplate for that one, or maybe that one got cracked or something and they swapped it out and just pushed it out there real quick for the video, because you can still see the lights on it. It's just the lights look dulled. But besides that one so-called anomaly, that's the only thing that I see that would make me say, I don't know. Actually, let me back that up. Let me back that up real quick to that last image and see everything looks consistent. Yeah, you can only see lighting on this one. See lighting down. You see the lighting all in the same place on all of these robots. Everything looks the same there, to it getting smaller, to it getting smaller, to it getting smaller. To me, I don't know. What do you think, Till? That looks kind of real to me.
I mean, we already got them dog robots. I mean, what y'all think we missing so that we can't have these, so that it could be fake? That's where I'm at. Why? Since you want me to prove that it's so fucking real, prove to me it's so fucking fake. I don't need no reflection shit, nigga. Go over there and let me know it's not real.
Mm-hmm. And so and remember what I was saying?
Bring me one back.
You can see this right here on this head looks shiny, whereas that looks dull. But if you look at that one where their one critique is, if you look at this, doesn't this head plate look not as shiny as the other ones?
Yeah, but still, does that mean it's fake?
No, what I'm saying is I don't think that it's fake. What I think is more than likely this one possibly fell and it cracked this thing. And they swapped it out with a quick one right before the shoot. Which that would allude to this being real, but they're hiding also some of the problems. Also, it could be just how close they are, proximity.
I was
Yeah.
thinking reflection. I was just thinking like maybe up close is tinted, like it's matte, or I don't know.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the lighting is going to be different, of course, when you're this close.
Yeah.
You can still see light right there. That's the same as that. You can still see this. That's that one. You can see that one. That is this one. You can see this one. That is alluding to these lights right here. So I can see that you still have the same lights. It's just showing a different reflection due to how close that robot is versus how close the other ones are, because it's going to show different lighting. Cameras and reflected lights get wonky. I agree. I also think, why would they put this out if they didn't,
Yeah, if they
why
didn't
would they
have
need
these
to
niggas.
fake it? Yeah, because
Thank you.
you're going to be able to see the production. You're going to be able to see. I mean, if you
Nigga, it's
some of
gonna come
the
out when we go to war, nigga, and that's next week. So fuck you talking about? They gonna have these niggas on the front line. These are Chinese Marines.
oh, they're going to be
First
using
ones
for
in,
everything.
last ones out.
Well, and that goes into like some of the thought pattern for like when I watched the Tron Ares, that was one of the plots of it, to try to take robots that they can materialize from nothing, almost like they were basically 3D printing from air, soldiers. Now, granted, that was a lot more high tech than even these would be, but that's the same kind of principle, that you're having a robot army for military use, which in this case it'll be for like they already said that they plan on using this for BYD and like Volkswagen's manufacturing to deal with the backlogs. And so if that's the case, and I'll be able to tell you, if this is true for a fact, the first thing you're going to see is the price of BYDs drop even more. And the reason why is because they're going to be laying off those workers. They're going to be able to drop those prices because they don't have as much overhead through paying, well, they don't already, I mean, the way they do their insurance and stuff is already different, but they won't have to worry about paying wages anymore, or massively limited. I mean, basically the only thing that will probably go up is they'll probably have to spend more in electrical output because they'll have to be charging a lot of batteries.
Well, they building all these motherfucking data centers all over the fucking place in y'all small ass towns and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just my small ass town is getting one, and I think that's wild, crazy, because I didn't think we were big enough to get a data center built out here, but apparently we are.
Yeah. Blue Sky. The only thing that I would say to that is, you gotta remember, the robots we're talking about, that one in Lex Friedman's house, we're talking about Americanized robots. We're not talking about Chinese robots. The American robots that are manufactured maybe in China are not the same
They
as
work
these
just
ones
like
that are built by these Chinese
Ford
corporations.
Mustang. They work like a Ford Mustang.
Yeah, this ain't like the Elon Musk BS. That's what it is. Elon Musk, his stuff is all about trying to give this look. It's all shallow. On the surface it looks like it's something, but once you actually use it, you find out all the kinks and problems in it. I don't think that they're faking the funk here, because there's so many things that I've looked at with just that they're doing in Japan, and Japan now has gotten surpassed by China. So I remember the exoskeleton suits and stuff. They've been using some of those. And some of the technology that we see in their vehicles in general. So I have a hard time believing that they're just faking it. Yeah, Max says here. Think about it. I'll hear a little echo.
Huh?
Here, I hear a little bit of an echo.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me mute myself. My bad.
No, you probably got it. Are you playing it live? If you're playing it live on something else, that's probably what it is. Max says, think about it too. The Chinese are beating US so bad in AI that it forces the US to do the Genesis project and no regulations on AI for 10 years. I agree. I just think that they don't want to face fact that China is kicking their ass so much in this front. All right, but yeah, going ahead. What were you gonna say, too?
I truly believe that these are real. I'm just saying, like, they ain't got no reason to front on us and be like, well, we got robots. Nigga, it's China. Y'all better have robots. Like, come on now. Like, get out of here. Like, there's the stereotype is y'all always 10 steps ahead. So, like, I believe it. Y'all got robots. Like, the fuck? And then if you telling me y'all robots is about to build Volkswagens, that's such a hard car to work on. I work on Volkswagens. First off, it's hard car. You know what I'm saying? You got to problem solve this bitch. For real, for real. You know, but it's a logical problem solving thing. And once you get the hang of it, but if you can fix a Volkswagen, you can fix anything. That's like, you know what I'm saying? That's the stereotype. You telling me they make robots that can fix these bitches? Man, they about to be the best robots ever.
Yeah, some of the stuff that I've just been hearing in general, I just think that I think people are trying to, they're trying to talk down what the hell is coming so that it gives them some time. They can buy some time for what the hell is coming, So I think America is so far behind the curve. Is this the actual? Yeah, this is. Trying to see. There was because they were talking about that those that are being put in the thing are already on order. And then the other expo that they had, it just creeped me out. Some of the robots that they have over there in China. Let me see if I can find one of those other robots that they had.
Did y'all see them? You see those Chinese masks they be making? That look like they got these masks over there that look so real. They're like the wildest, realistic masks ever, and they go out of China. And the way they suction to your face, they make you like a whole new person, bro. Like I could be Michael Jackson tomorrow.
Let me. Did I show you the? Did I show the one where they got a robot doing Tai Chi?
No, was he beating up people?
I imagine it could. Here, let me get this. Let me get this one on the screen and show you this shit because it's like you can actually see the robots in full function. This is their expo that they had showing off their robots and the ability of their robots right now. And so, okay, you might believe that it's fake that they have them mass produced. Some of the people were even saying that they believe that there are humans who are actually in these suits, or like the American ones where they got like these home robots, how they got like somebody who is basically controlling the robot. I mean, that could be possible. I don't rule anything out, but I don't know. This thing, even if that's the case, the way the way these things are responding to a person controlling them, it's kind of impressive.
Well, that's another thing. Do they like? Is there going to be a point in time where they're no longer being controlled by a human? Do they get to go? Is that going to be
Well,
like
they're saying that
AWOL to
these
them?
already
Like, what's
are.
that?
They're saying that these are like somebody is basically somebody is basically typing in a program for what they want them to do, but not like the other ones. Remember the other ones a couple of weeks ago that we showed where somebody literally has a headset on and they're moving the arm and it's moving. Like not like that. Like these are somebody's just put in a system, do Tai Chi, and it's just doing it. Like this is a fully like actual AI responding to commands and operating it, not just basically a giant technological mannequin
Beat their ass.
or a giant puppet. So here we go.
A moment when science fiction quietly becomes ordinary life. When it walked on stage, the posture and balance looked familiar in a way that caught people off guard. That lifelike motion is not a trick. Iron is built around a spine-like core with bionic muscle groups, layered synthetic skin, and careful human proportions that make presence and interaction feel natural. The hands are the highlight. Each hand carries 22 degrees of freedom, powered by tiny harmonic joints that still fit inside a human-sized palm. Across the body, Iron totals 82 degrees of freedom, which is why it rotates, gestures, and shifts, weight the way people do. The intelligence stack is part of XPeng's physical AI program. Vision language task and vision language action models coordinate what Iron sees and hears with how each joint moves, and an in-house compute platform delivers about 2,250 TOPS to fuse sensing, planning, and action in real time. Because the robot is meant to work near people, XPeng chose a solid-state battery architecture aimed at safety and thermal stability. The idea is a simple one: power it safely and let it belong in human spaces. The internet noise came from somewhere else entirely. After the reveal, many viewers insisted the gate looked too human, as if a performer were pretending to be a robot. The next day, He Xiaopeng ended the rumor in the bluntest possible way. With Iron powered on, he cut open the fiber skin on the robot's leg and showed the frame, actuators, and wiring. He also opened panels around the torso to display the structure while Iron stood calmly. A conspiracy theory turned into a defining proof. XPeng's deployment plan puts Iron where people will actually need it. Early roles are human-facing work such as reception, retail assistance, concierge tasks, light security, and guided tours in museums or showrooms. Mass production preparations are planned to begin around April of 2026, with large-scale manufacturing targeted by the end of that year, and an open software development kit will let partners teach Iron new jobs. The competitive echoes were immediate. Elon Musk acknowledged Iron and suggested that Tesla and Chinese companies could lead the humanoid market, while many competitors in the West fall behind, coming from the person behind Optimus. That is both respect and a challenge. If Iron is the opening move, XPeng will compete through lifelike motion, strong safety choices, and a services-first strategy. Beneath the synthetic skin and social-ready face is a straightforward philosophy: build the body well, power it safely, give it practical jobs, and let developers add more. The result is a machine that walks like us, gestures like us.
So I'm looking at that and I'm like, just accept that the Chinese are that far ahead of us. Yeah, Max says maybe China will create a real life Wailing Yutani. I agree. I think that's what they're doing right now. And that's the reason why these Elon Musks and people like that have been talking about that the robots are coming. And the reason why they seem like they're kind of like stuck into which way to go is because they know that it's bad, that it's going to take people's jobs, but they don't know how to stop it. But at the same time, they don't want to be caught behind it either. So I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, Till.
No, I ain't got nothing else to say on that, to be honest. I mean, it is what it is. We 10 steps behind. We worrying about dumb shit. So
Yeah, Wesley, you said I don't buy it. They didn't cut the same robot. They cut the robot that was on stage walking. They cut the robot that people claim that was a person pretending. I don't know. I think that they can get in a whole lot of trouble if they are actually lying. So I don't know why these corporations would go to this extent. That
I
I've
mean,
been watching for
honestly,
20
because
years.
all right, then listen to the naysayers.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what do they gain by not having it?
In fact, they run into more problems not having it and saying you got it. Because then the corporation is set up as a fraud and you will collapse. Also, what are you doing with people's money if you built it up and it's not real? Oh no, but on that note, that's just what I kind of bring to people's attention, that it's looking like that sooner than later that those will be built. And if China is using it now, only a matter of time before either American espionage figures out a way to copy what they've done, or American technology catches up and they're able to do the same. But I think either way, warehouse type work, some of those they're on the chopping block for what's to come. I mean, there's even more. I mean, I can go down a whole list of stuff that I think is highly in trouble. But
Construction,
I go construction,
manufacturing.
call centers,
Yep.
which we're already seeing
Manufacturing.
some of that. Manufacturing, I can see types of jobs like police dispatch and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things would be gone. Just dispatch jobs in general. So, like for your tow company and all that.
Logistics is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Logistics is taking over.
Writing certain legal briefs and stuff. I can see all that being gone away.
Okay.
Because
So
all they would need to do,
notaries.
yeah, notaries, stuff like that. I could see all that stuff going away.
So
And the only reason why
paralegals.
notaries might hang is because in order for it to be a legal stamp, it has to be viewed by an actual person to be admissible in court.
Nah, I don't think. Well, that's the thing. I don't believe that, because check me out. These motherfucking cops recently just obtained these weird ass fucking cameras that catch you in the act of speeding. And what
Mm-hmm.
do? They just send it to some lady. She reviews it, and that's it. So pretty much, that's all they'd have to do.
Well, yeah, they can just have that woman just do the review, or have a human person do the review and sign it off.
If they even do that anytime, they might obsolete that step. They might just
Well, it's only
obsolete
just
that,
because
send it to an
legally.
AI checker.
Well, it's only because legally, like per law, you have to have, for anything notarized, it has to be an actual notar, a person. Now, for the speeding, since there's no law that says that they can't use cameras without human beings, that's how they can get around that. But because they still, I believe legally, they still have to go through an actual notarer. So that would hold them for a minute, but all they have to do is put an amendment that says that we can certify that the robot can certify these. It's like, yeah, it's only like one step away from getting rid of that.
Hell yeah. See, I had to go look. I said, does a notary have to be a human? It said, yeah. Say, damn, my dog can't be my notary.
No, that's the only thing, because I knew somebody who was a notary, and I remember there was like, you literally had to physically be in front of them doing it. Like you couldn't
Yeah, I
do it on
know.
camera for them or nothing. They're like, no, they got to literally witness you doing it face to face. So now let's go to the story that blew everybody's mind. Let's see. I guess I'll just show. Oh no, that's the one that's the video. Okay. I found the video too that I was telling you about. So let me click this one on. Is Kaiser really calling me on a Saturday evening? Calm down, Kaiser. So hold on a second.
We just want to let you know we dropping you as a patient.
No, they're trying to say get your ass in here for your MRI.
Mm-mm.
Your doctor already ordered it, so come on. We need that money. So here it is. Check this shit out. And stop me at any point when you want me to do any point where you want to hop in.
Jesus, my favorite part of the day. Yeah, let's do this. Go ahead. I'm gonna mute first. I'm gonna get him at least a third of the way through before I say
Yeah.
something.
For those who haven't heard this story, I will let the news report explain it for you.
A federal grand jury indicted 2 North Texas men accused of plotting to invade a foreign island, kill the men, and take the women as sex slaves.
Prosecutors say one of the men enlisted in the Air Force to get military training he thought he needed. Fox 4's Blake Hansen in our newsroom tonight with these stunning allegations. Blake.
Yeah, Stephen Heather, federal prosecutors say the suspects didn't plan to go it alone. In fact, the feds say they plan to recruit people who are homeless in Washington, D.C. to serve on their, quote, expeditionary force and take over a small Haitian island. The grand jury indictment handed up today charges 21-year-old Gavin Weisenberg from Allen and 20-year-old Tanner Thomas from Argyle with conspiracy to murder, maim, or kidnap in a foreign country, as well as a charge of production of child pornography. Record show Weisenberg was booked into the Collin County Jail in July. We've not been able to find a mugshot for Thomas. Prosecutors say he was in the U.S. Air Force at the time. The place they are accused of plotting to invade is called Gonave Island. It is part of the Republic of Haiti. It's not small. In fact, that island has about 87,000 residents. Prosecutors say Weisenberg and Thomas plan to lead that expeditionary force by sailboat to the island, murder the men, take control of the island, and then turn the women into sex slaves, according to prosecutors. The feds say the plan dates back to August of last year. They say Weisenberg enrolled in a Rockwall Fire Academy to learn command and control protocols, but flunked out in February. And they say he then traveled to Thailand to learn how to sail, but didn't enroll in the school due to the cost. The feds say Thomas, meanwhile, enlisted in the Air Force in January and in March, changed his station assignment from Germany to Maryland to better coordinate the invasion and recruit the homeless population in D.C. We reached out to attorneys listed for Weisenberg and did not hear back. We could not find attorneys listed for Thomas. Prosecutors say they face up to life in prison if convicted on the conspiracy to murder charge.
Kill the men and take the women as sex slaves. Kill the men and take the women as sex slaves. Kill the men and take the women as sex slaves.
If you didn't know already, white men make up 29% of the U.S. population, but are accounted for over 77% of the people caught with child. You know what?
Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now, let's get into today's story, not wasting no time. Now, I was originally going to have this as part of the culture, the series, the culture, but I felt like we might as well just have this topic by itself as a standalone topic. So today we have, as you can see by the headline, 2 Texas men, 2 white men from Texas have been indicted in a plot to assassinate all the men and enslave the women and the children on a Haitian island. The prosecutors claim that the men plan to buy a sailboat, firearms, and ammunition before recruiting homeless people in the D.C. area as a mercenary army to stage a coup d'etat motivated by rape. Now, listen, you already know which demographic is responsible for such criminal activity. You already know which demographic is responsible for what we're about to talk about today. And like I say, when it comes to me, this part.
What is you on, bro? What is you on, bro? Look at these crackers. Yeah, I said it. Look at these niggas. This is crazy. This is so crazy. And they really thought this was gonna work.
Yeah.
I want to know who their drug dealer is. Because at the end of the day, I too need those type of drugs.
The first sign should have been you try to enroll in some kind of leadership camp and you failed out of that. You try to go to, was it Taiwan or Thailand for some kind of sailing thing, and then you realize you didn't have the money for that and you quit. Then your plan was to come back to DC and recruit homeless people to be part of your army. And I wonder, well, how much was he planning to pay them to be these mercenaries? And how many were you planning to get? Like, were you going to go with like 3, 4, 5? Did you think you can get 100 of them? I mean, like, what was this? I want to know what the plan was. Like, how does this work? How are you going to facilitate this whole operation? How much money did you have on hand to pay them? Where were you? How are you going to get them there? Like, you were going to get all, however many men you think you could have fit on a sailing boat? That's why I throw out maybe 100. And the Tanner one, I believe they said that he enlisted in the Air Force so he can get firearm experience. And he got
How long y'all been thinking about this is my thing. Like y'all been
that's
y'all
why
been sitting on this like a little grip.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me skip ahead in his video because I think he's there. It is right here. So here. I'll let him talk a little bit more, explain out his feelings and thoughts because he's going to say when he first seen this plot.
Particular demographic, I'm very familiar with these guys, man. Nothing they do surprises me. My ancestors wrote literature explaining their mentality, their proclivities, and their activities. So when it comes to me, nothing they do surprises me at all, right? I'm a very well-studied black man who knows my history very well with these people. Anyway, let's get into the story. In North Texas, federal prosecutors say that 2 young men aged 21 and 20 years old spent nearly an entire year planning an attack on a Haitian island, the island of La Gonave, which is home to approximately 85 to 87,000 people. 21-year-old Gavin Rivers Weissenberg and 20-year-old Tanner Christopher Thomas of Argyle, Texas, allegedly developed an international plan to sail to the island of La Gonave off the coast of Haiti, eliminate all the men there, overthrow the local authorities, and then place the women and children into slavery, with the particular focus on the exploitation of the minors. The court documents describe an extended preparation period going back to August 2024 through July 2025. The investigators say that the pair had learned Haitian Creole. They researched weapons and equipment and actively tried to recruit other people into the scheme, including homeless people in Washington, D.C., to form a makeshift army. One of the suspects even enlisted in the United States Air Force, allegedly with the goal of gaining military skills to use in the planned attack, while the other suspect enrolled in the Fire Academy to learn command and control procedure. He later traveled to Thailand intending to study sailing, but never completed the course due to the cost. According to court documents, their intended mission involved purchasing a boat, obtaining firearms, ammunition, and other weapons, sailing to the island of La Gonave, killing the entire male population, and forcing the women and children under their control. Federal agents also noted that both the suspects already face serious accusations involving crimes against minors in the United States, involving a charge that they coerced a young person to produce illegal images and videos on camera back in August 2024. This case also highlights a broader issue long raised by Haitian authorities. For decades, white men from various countries, most often presenting themselves as missionaries, volunteers, or charitable workers, have been implicated in crimes against Haitian children. The allegations in this indictment fit into the wider pattern, where vulnerable communities are intentionally targeted by outsiders, particularly white men, who view the region as a place where they can act with impunity. Both suspects, Weisenberg and Thomas, are now charged with conspiracy to commit murder, maim, kidnap in a foreign country, a federal offense carrying a potential life sentence, along with the production of harmful material involving minors, which carries a mandatory minimum of 15 years in prison. Now, this reminds me because I remember the exact day because I was watching the conversation happen on the internet as it was happening, right? There was this guy, right? He had over how many subscribers he had on Twitter? He had over 300,000 subscribers, right? And I remember seeing him on the internet. He was going viral because he said, how come us white men don't just invade Haiti and let's just take Haiti, bro. Let's just go down to Haiti with like 50 guys with handguns and let's just take territory, right? And like a bunch of white men in the comment section, man, let's do it, bro. Let's do it, bro. I'm in. What time we leaving? What time we going? Let's do it, right? And I was just watching the conversation, from the shadows, right? just watching, just watching the enthusiasm and like how they were talking, right? So now when I see this happen, a year later, and they said that these guys started planning their attack around the exact same time that this conversation was happening on social media. I think this conversation happened around like summer 2024, and they said these guys started planning their attack back around summer 2024, right? So, it's just very interesting to me how I saw the conversation happening live on social media, and then these guys actually went out and tried to put it into action, right? But of course, nobody has their eyes on this demographic because everybody thinks that this demographic is full of upstanding citizens, good, righteous, moral people. And due to the fact that they spend billions and trillions into propaganda, rewriting fake history, right? Rewriting the historical narrative on themselves as a demographic, people tend to underestimate the level of barbarity and savagery that these guys exhibit on a regular basis. That's why we have the illustrious broadcast called The Culture. Go to my playlist section. We have over 40 episodes where we discuss the crimes these guys commit every single day across the nation and across the world. But
so that lays out the timeline and his channel. If you want to see the whole video of this, I don't know. Teal, I will let you pronounce that. Can you see it? What is it? Nefa Kare Desalinese? I don't know. I don't know how to say that. So I'm not going to try. Well, I guess I tried my best, and I would take this, copy it, and I will put that into our chat. So anybody who's looking live, if you wanted to click on it. Oh, that's right. There we go. And I'll put it up on the screen. So if somebody is watching this after the fact and they're not able to click on it, that is the link for this video. Of course, you see the video there, so you should be able to get it. But yes, Till, your thoughts. I figure let's go big on them again. Just look at these two. For me, it's trying to figure where do I start. It's not even so much the racism and the grossness, because they try to mess with little kids, but the fact of what gets into your head to make you think that this is possible, like the level of delusion that I mean, if you were going to try to say, you know what, we're going to try to go to some desolate area and take over that. Maybe you're crazy enough to think, oh, well, we'll go into the outskirts of Africa somewhere and try this. You wanted to go to a place of 87,000 people. I mean, for one, that tells me you didn't do any research on this place. You just figured it's some backwater place that we could do that with. That let's say, for instance, if they were even somewhat successful, not the whole entire country. Let's say that they found one little portion of the country, a small little outskirts town with, say, 300 people, and they did that in that little town and were successful. You don't think that like people would come from the other parts of the island and come and snatch you up, even if you were successful, even if you had even mild success? And so if you didn't have the money to take the sailing course in Thailand, where was the money going to come from to be able to, to hire all these people who were going to be on your sailboat? Like, it's just none of this is making any sense to me. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe they thought they were going to be so successful that once they got to Africa, I mean, not Africa, but once they got to Haiti, that they would have enough money and resources to fund everything from there. I don't know. Teal, hop in. What's your thoughts on this? If you're there. Yeah, these are people saying racism does. Oh no, it's a lot of people say racism doesn't exist anymore. But I mean, that's when you've gotten so full of yourself with the racism that you feel you are so superior. Two white men could take on, unless let's say two white men plus a group of 100 that they got together. That would be enough that they could just obliterate tens of thousands of people. That's the reason why I think like Yonina was saying, I think that this person is probably of that group because he's probably dealing with a double supremacist mindset that he really was powerful enough to do this. And it's like I get if you was like some great warrior who has fought like tens of thousands of battles and you have taken out all these different people, but where does this thinking like I get even thinking like, man, we should go and do that, but or talking shit because that's something that I've heard, and I'm not trying to be racist, but I've definitely heard like people say, "Oh, well, that's just something that's just edgy, something that that boys say or whatever." And I'm like, that got to be a white thing, because I've never in my life heard blacks and Latinos, black and Latino males come up with this edgy shit that these white guys say. I'm just being edgy and being an edgelord. No, that's not a thing outside of kids who become white incels and stuff. That I don't know. And that typically what I see is that's typically the pipeline to people who end up on the right side of politics, who end up in the right wing. They're the ones who say this weird ass shit like that and come with this crazy white supremacist ideology. It's not something that's typical of all teenage males. And I wouldn't even say all white teenage males, but it's definitely something that's typical of white teenage males who end up going on to the right wing side of things. It always seems like it goes hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. There's always this contingent of racism that leads into their right wing ideology. And so I don't know. I'm trying to because I try to logically think throughout think about things. So it wasn't like, okay, a step by step. Let's say, for instance, they were successful in taking over this whole area. How were they going to hold it and maintain it? Did you really think, let's say evenly, if let's see if it was more of a women and children dominated society and say less than half of the population were teenage to adult males. Let's say roughly that we're at least dealing with on a low side, say 35,000 men. The two of you guys, or maybe 100, thought you could face 35,000. I don't care how weak you think the people are, but really 30. Did you even look up like the population of this place? You can't make insanity logical marks. I get that, but I don't know. I guess it's tough for me because I try to think through what was going through their mind. And for you to have this wasn't just like a fleeting thought, like, oh, we thought about this one day and dreamed it up on a whim. Like, they really thought about this for over a year. And it looks like they came up with this ideology or this idea off of possibly Elon Musk's Twitter Spaces. So therefore proving that Elon Musk is radicalizing young white men. Fuentes is Spanish. Is he passing? Yes. Nick Fuentes is a quarter Mexican. His father is half Mexican. And so, yes, I've seen his mother. His mother is definitely clearly white. His sister actually looks a little bit like, looking at her, you can tell she looks like she's possibly a little Hispanic. I mean, I guess depending on the photo. But yes, he is a quarter white. I mean, but I don't like. Honestly, more and more, I'm starting to think Nick Fuentes is a grifter. I don't think he really believes all the stuff he says, and that's just recently I've come to that. You know, that I guess revelation, because I've seen people point out like how he talks to his audience. He seems like he's just like so annoyed with them. Like, and he's also talked about how we need to try to let go of some of our hatred and try to like do deals with people on the left, and some of the stuff that he talks about with his whole, I don't know, well, not talked about, but some of the pictures he did with like, he has some pictures with him and like a cat boy or something, which I think secretly Nick Fuentes is gay and he's a grifter. I think he probably, his actual positions actually probably lean a little bit more towards, I would say he's probably a moderate Republican at best. I can see very easily that he's center left and cosplaying for the money. And now that he's gotten the money and the status, he's probably like, yeah, I'm over it. But I think, well, he was part of Young Republicans and he gained some fame from that. Or maybe he's one of those people who he was an actual Republican and then he started kind of coming back over and kind of got revelations and his viewpoints has changed. Like for instance, we're going to be I'm going to be bringing on a guest host soon. I have to make sure I work on the schedules with him and try to check, but um, uh, a young kid that I'm excited to have join us on some of these shows, and we'll see how it goes. I know that he changed from his positions, and I remember talking to this kid when he was younger, and he was part of TPUSA. And he's went from being part of TPUSA to dramatically changing from his former kind of conservative mindset. Now, I'm not saying everything is changed. He's still, but it's proof that people in real life can, over years, kind of change from some of their perspectives. And he was always very open-minded, even when he was part of TPUSA. So we had many conversations, which I was friends with his mom, so it's interesting watching the young man grow up and how his viewpoints have changed and how open-minded he always was. I always thought he was very, very intelligent. I knew, just give him time. He'll see the pathway on his own. And so you guys will meet him soon enough when I bring on the guest host. But it's interesting, and I'm sure on stories like this, he can probably help shed some light on where some of these young men come from, because he's probably heard, I don't know to what degree. I mean, because the fact that he's Mexican, I doubt that they will probably be so comfortable to throw these kind of conversations around in front of him. But I'm pretty sure he's probably heard some stuff through the grapevine. So it'd be interesting to hear his perspective on topics like this. So I'll probably reach out to him to try to get him on and introduce you guys to, a future contributor to the show, and start him off with that. So said they were planning on this before that even occurred. Cat fed Fuentes can't believe anybody takes him serious. Yeah, I don't take him seriously at all. But I just can't believe that these knuckleheads, and they already were trying to do the stuff with, they were already in trouble for the stuff with the youth, that I'm just like, gross. And so you would think when you two young men to talk about taking over a place or whatever and get rid of men, you'd think that they would be because they're going after the women. But no, it seems like their goal was the children. So it's really gross. And I guarantee you look through their political ideology, you'll find out these people were definitely Republicans. And I don't know. It's always interesting that a lot of MAGA and the people from the right are always worrying about these, these rings of trafficking and people going there after the kids. And most of the time it's a lot of these people who are already on the right. So it's like, what the hell? Just look in house. Quit worrying about, these billionaires and millionaires doing it, because there's plenty of people in your own circles who are just as dangerous. And if you can stop some of those right around you, maybe you can help some of these kids. Quit worrying about the people who are out of reach. Worry about these people right around you who you could, get locked up tomorrow. So I don't know. I guess Teal might have had something going on with her audio. I've been trying to see if she wanted to hop in, but I don't know. I'll give her one more try. Teal, if you want to say anything, let me know. If not, I'll get ready to wrap this up. I don't know. I could tell her mute came off, but her audio looks off. Teal, try going out and then coming back in. It seems like she can hear me. She just can't. Audio's not working. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I watched one video where it was somebody like for Nick Fuentes, and they were saying like good things about him, like, "Oh, you've showed me so much and taught me so much," and he was just like freaking annoyed with him. He's like, just ignore politics. Just get a life. All right, there you are. I can hear something.
There we go. That's better.
Okay, all right.
Okay, because I was talking
I know
shit.
she got a lot to say. I know you got a lot
I
to
do.
say.
I was talking so much shit because I was like, these motherfuckers thought they could round up homeless people and it was gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't hear none of this shit I said. I was popping shit over here. I was like, yo, these motherfuckers really was like, we just gonna round up a whole bunch of homeless people out of DC. Do you know how crazy homeless people are?
Mm-hmm.
And you think you're gonna give these homeless people orders?
Yeah.
What? What? You idiot fucks. And y'all had all this fucking time. Y'all took this whole fucking year and didn't figure it out that y'all wasn't gonna make this shit shake. Do y'all understand that Haiti is the first fucking revolting ass fucking black colony? They will whoop your ass. They've been itching to find two crackers to fucking make an example out of. I say let them go. I say release them and let them go over there.
Or just drop them in the middle.
Drop them in the middle of the island and let them have them.
I give them a butter knife apiece.
Butter knife?
Yeah, at least give them a fighting chance.
And I give y'all niggas 2 spoons, bitch.
Mm-hmm. That way, you thought you could do something, go in there. In fact, I honestly believe you could just take one of the coldest Haitians on that island, and he probably handled him by himself.
I ain't trying to be funny. It's probably somebody grandmama.
Never know.
Somebody grandmama gonna fucking come up there, put a root on you, call it a day.
I don't even think they got to put a root on these dudes. I think these dudes is just. I mean, look at them. They both look frail. At least the one, Tanner Thomas over here, he definitely looked frail. Oh, Gavin might be a little wiry, but I still think that push come to subs, these boys ain't really got it in them.
They ain't built like that. If that was the case, it would have been a Marine and a Ranger, not no motherfucking bum ass pizza delivery looking ass boy and a nigga from the Air Force. Please.
That's the thing. If you told me that these guys actually did train and like spend some years and were actually, if you told me like this was a contingent of like 100, black ops, former, Navy SEALs, former Rangers or something, okay, I could see how they can get some crazy shit in their head that they could probably try this.
No.
I still would think it's insane. But at least I'm like, okay, these are people who got some training. Maybe they thought a civilian population we could roll in there. I could buy that a little more than you just thought you can just get up off the couch and you're just born with enough just in you to be able to do this. Like
that's that white power shit. That's that white privilege shit. You thinking that you just woke up one day and think you can take on 80,000 niggas.
Yeah, I said if we isolate it, let's say minimum, let's say if it was a female dominated country, let's say minimum of adult males, you at least got probably like 30,000. You really think 2 on 30,000, or let's say your whole group, 100 on 30,000, those numbers make sense to you?
That's why white people just be too. They be see, and that's where y'all get from minding the business that don't pay y'all. If y'all did more research on if white people did more research on other countries instead of just trying to always take over other countries, they would learn a lot, like how to mind their motherfucking business.
Now that makes me wonder how many expeditions of colonists and conquistadors went to places and got wiped out that we never heard about.
Roanoke is one of them out here. Roanoke colony disappeared.
Yeah, that makes me wonder, like, how many times, Roanoke's a famous one, but like, how many of those ones were they scrubbed from the history books that they don't want us to know
That
about?
they don't even tell you about because they sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, how many times the Incans done wiped somebody up off this motherfucking 8-day skulls? How many times the Mayans slid some niggas, you know what I'm saying? How many times the Haitians done slit a couple niggas' throats? How many times the pygmy people fucked them niggas up? Like, yeah. Remember that video of them white people that went over there and started fucking with that fucking cannibalistic tribe and them niggas beat their asses and ate them? See what happens when you don't mind the business that pays you, white people?
Well, I look at it. Let's say, for instance, they were able to recruit 1,000, and that 1,000 did go over there. And let's say y'all did manage to take over the place. Why would you want to try to take over a place of a people who have a history of getting their
fucking y'all up?
They got a history of becoming a nation because they overthrew slavers. You want to enslave a group of people who are known for fighting their way out of slavery?
That's why I'm saying, that's why I said, Marcus, y'all need to look into their history before you go minding their fucking business. This is they shit. Prime example. Boom, let's do this. Politicians. What's they shit? Fucking with kids. That's they shit. You know what I'm saying? Politicians, they know how to do that. Boom. White people, what's they shit? Not minding the business that pays them. Haitian people, what's they shit? Overthrowing white people. It's in their DNA. They gave birth to other revolutionaries. They gave birth to other rioters. They gave birth to other black kids that's been itching for the day somebody get up out beside themselves and try to do some shit again. So they can show y'all they will beat your granddaddy's ass. They will whoop your granddaddy's ass before they'll do it again.
Yeah, Haiti's a big part of why the Louisiana Purchase went through.
Hello.
They were like, you know what? We already see that they creeping their asses into Louisiana and Mississippi. You know what? We just gonna go ahead and sell this because we already fighting over here against the British, and we can't afford to be fighting on all these different fronts. So let's just go ahead and give that one, let that one go, because we already see they gonna put their influence into those areas. I mean, they already was going down there helping in Mexico and help overthrow the Spaniards, and so it's like, okay, they going around and they sparking revolutions everywhere. But these are the people you want to go after.
The ones that was helping niggas out. Okay.
Like that's what I'm saying. Even let's say if that island only had 800 people and you managed to overthrow them with a force of 1,000, these people are always going to be plotting to overthrow you. I don't care how long it took. I don't care if you were able to maintain it until you guys are like 80, 90 years old. At some point, you're going to be woken up to a knife in your stomach. Is that the future you wanted? Even if you were, and I'm like, that's if the numbers were small enough. I mean, did y'all do no research on this place y'all plan to try to take over? I mean, y'all sounding like Ted Cruz in that Tucker Carlson interview, not being able to name shit about Iran, not being able to name shit about the Bible he professes in. It's like, if I'm gonna go do something, like if you're gonna build a house somewhere.
You got to survey the
You bought
land,
the
man.
land. You're not going to survey the land, figure out, okay, can I build here? Is this good land? I mean, how deep can I build my foundation? Do I got room for a basement? I mean, you're not going to just at least do a little basic research on what the hell you're trying to do.
Okay. I just want to throw this out there. I know this isn't representing all white people. I'm also understanding this is not representing all people that are in the military. But I just want to throw out this little sidebar. You're telling me a white man that made it through basic, that is supposed to be defending our country, didn't know that he needed to survey the land before he went out on the mission?
He only spent 3 months in the military.
Oh, what the fuck?
This dude just made it through boot camp and thought that was enough.
Are you not entertained?
He thought that was enough training. And this dude thought, I'm going to go to firefighting school to get leadership training on running a country.
A coup.
So you thought to run your own little private military conquistador force, a colonizing force, you thought going to firefighting training made the most sense. I was going to say, these probably are some of the dumbest.
Our school systems have failed us. Have you seen it? Do y'all see it? This is what our school system is getting us. It has failed us.
I think it was amazing. Lucas was like, this is embarrassing for us as black people. Because it's like the other African countries, other black countries are looking at us like, these are the motherfuckers y'all let enslave y'all?
Yes. Sadly.
Y'all let these people enslave y'all? Come on.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly, Wes. The arrests saved their lives. Like, I don't know if they would have died quick either, because I got the feeling, man, he would have caught the wrong Haitian leader over there, or warlord, or whatever, or town, village, council. You're like, no, catch him alive. Especially like if they would have fucked up and went to mainland Haiti instead.
Meatball would have got their asses.
Plus, also, we don't know shit about this little island. I know I don't know anything about it.
Nope.
How do we know that this was a peaceful little, quiet little island, and you weren't going into the most dangerous, treacherous part of Haiti?
I hope you were. Them people saved your lives.
Mm-hmm. I hope your parents are embarrassed. I really hope they are. In fact, what was the name of the place? Ganav.
How did y'all even find this island, though? For y'all not to do no research, y'all found this island.
Let's see. Let me try to find out a little bit about it. Is a large Haitian island. You didn't think, let me go to one of the little ones.
No. That's that white privilege, white power shit. They think they can do whatever the fuck they want to, and they gonna succeed every time.
So technically, this is the place where this looks pretty damn close to where Christopher Columbus would have landed in the first place. It says the largest satellite island of Hispaniola. measuring approximately 60 kilometers or 37 miles long by 9 miles wide, with a mostly barren and hilly landscape. That's what they probably heard. It's mostly barren.
What that's supposed to mean?
They mostly, when they heard barren, they probably assumed that mostly ain't nobody there. I'm trying to see, like, why did they think this was a good idea? Like, what made them say, you know what, that's the spot to go to? Okay, I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's very easily, like, if you were sailing, they could have screwed up and went, because you would have had to go past the mainland part of Haiti. You would have had to go past the mainland part of, and it's very possible you could have drifted right into one of these other parts. I don't know why you made this decision. I don't know why. What I'm just still trying to. I don't know. I guess it's my problem. Always trying to understand things, but it does not make sense to me why this decision was made.
Because white people think they go succeed every time they do some shit. Rude awakening.
Well, I mean, that's all. That's all I got on it. I don't know. You got any more closing thoughts on this before we wrap?
White people, mind the business that pay you. Don't go to Haiti trying to do some wild shit like this. This is a bad idea. This is a bad move. 0 stars. That's all.
Yeah, my thoughts also, man. Don't quit doing dumb shit, people.
Come on.
People quit doing dumb shit.
Don't go to Haiti.
Deal with your own life and handle what you can handle. Also, I mean, it's literally a Bible scripture that tells you about measuring the cost. In fact, I'm gonna pull that one up. I'm gonna pull that scripture up for you, because I guarantee you these people were probably evangelicals. So here it is. Luke 14:28. It says, "For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?" So let me give you that in a more newer translation. This is in the CEV. "Suppose you want to build a tower. What is first thing you will do? Won't you sit down and figure out how much it will cost, and if you have enough money to pay for it?"
Jesus, so sorry.
Have some common sense and learn first before you do stupid shit. That said, hopefully y'all have a great weekend. Hopefully y'all enjoy the show. Thank you for everybody who swung through, who was here from the beginning, whether you popped in for 5 minutes, just hopped in the middle, hopped in at the end, or you're watching this later on. We appreciate you and value you. You said the new KJV for the win. Let me see. What is the new KJV? What does it say in there? I normally like the GNT. It's pretty interesting. But let's see what the new KJV said. Dang, how many translations do they have in here? New KJV: "For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the costs, whether he has enough to finish it?" Good one. Good one. Here, let me give you, I said I like the GNT. Let's see what the GNT said. How did they say it? Says, "If one of you is planning to build a tower, you sit down first and figure out what it will cost to see if you have enough money to finish the job." I don't know. Both of them are pretty solid. But on that note, I don't know if you heard the news that I brought up that I'm going to be bringing in a guest host who's going to start joining us. You know, I don't know what his schedules and stuff work out, but I'm going to be bringing him in. so we got a younger fella in that'll be joining us. And I said it'll be interesting because even when I first met the young man, he was always very open-minded, even though he was coming from a different perspective. And I always felt like, you know what, I'm gonna give him some time. I bet you over years his views are gonna change, because the more he learns, because at that time he was still like 17, 18. And I was like, just give him some time, give him some time. And now I was talking to him again after some years, and he's completely flipped around on a lot of things and a lot of stuff. Me and him, we were talking, and he's done quite a lot of research to get to the point where he is. But he started off as TP USA, and is now considers himself center left.
Okay.
So I'm very excited to, bring him around. And also he can give us some perspectives on, what it was like for somebody being around that whole TPUSA kind of thing, and what some of the people in his circles coming from that right wing, I would say evangelical base, how they were saying things and how they were seeing things. And he also I remember him talking multiple times about him hanging out with Charlie Kirk and stuff. So that'll be interesting too. So I don't know.
I'm looking forward to that. Hell yeah.
Got some interesting stuff. So I look forward to. I'm gonna probably hit Justin up and see if he can make it for next week's show. That'd be probably a lot of fun to have him on.
Hell yeah, because it's gonna be my birthday next Saturday.
Okay. Oh yeah, so you'll be away.
Well, nah, I don't think I'll be away. I think I'll probably be here for like at least the first half of the show.
Okay. I mean, I can always try to do it a little bit earlier. Make sure that you're not hanging out so long.
I appreciate you.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
I'll see everybody's face on my birthday, because then I can actually come back and start showing my face.
All right. And then just send me throughout the week, I guess. We'll chop it up and figure out what kind of stuff we both keeping our eyes on, and I'll get some stories from Justin also, and then we'll go from there.
Hell yeah.
But all right.
Thanks, guys.
Whoa, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Oh, I'm getting my Twitch back up. So you can find my Twitch at Boo Boo Kitty Fucks, BOOBUKITEEFUXZ on Twitch. And I'm gonna be trying to hurry up and finish my damn games. I've been trying my best to finish my Assassin's Creed, so let's hope I can finish it soon.
Oh yeah, also possibility we might be switching some of our streaming, so we might be on more places that we might be streaming to, because we might be using I don't know. We'll work out all that stuff, and then we'll tell you guys once we get it situated. But that's it. This has been the Political Matrix. I am Marcus from Morpheus Cage, here with
Voodoo in Nature. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out.
There is discrimination in this world, and slavery and slaughter and starvation. Governments repress their people. Millions are trapped in poverty, while the nation grows rich, and wealth is lavished on armaments everywhere. These are differing evils, but they are the common works of man. They reflect the imperfection of human justice, the inadequacy of human compassion, our lack of sensibility towards the suffering of our fellows. But we can perhaps remember, even if only for a time, those who live with us are our brothers, that they share with us the same short moment of life, that they seek as we do, nothing but the chance to live out their lives in purpose and happiness, winning what satisfaction and fulfillment they can.